Welcome back to Half the Battle. I'm your host, as always, Daniel Levy, your guest co-host, Malcolm the Machine Wellmaker. Today, we're going to talk about UFC 323. Merab Dvalishvili versus Petr Yan, the rematch. And my friends, it's going down this Saturday night live at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada. We got the greatest bantamweight of all time, Merab Dvalishvili, taking on the former champion, Petr Yan. And Malcolm, welcome back to Half the Battle.
What's going on, brother? I'm glad to be here.
No, the pleasure's all mine. So we got a lot to talk about. We're going to break down this main card with you. We're going to talk about your last fight, everything that goes along with that. And then I'm going to let you go. I'm going to break down the prelims for the fans. So let's not waste any time, my friends, because let's get right down to business. Because in this main event, we got the champ, Merab Dvalishvili. He's 21-4, taking on the former champ, Petr Yan, who's 19-5. Currently, they got it Merab Dvalishvili minus 415. The comeback on Petr Yan's plus 315. So Merab's 34. Peter's still only 32. Peter's an inch taller at 5'7", but Merab's got an inch reach advantage at 68 inches of reach. So, man, hell of a fight. I say that, but the first time they ran it, it wasn't a hell of a fight. It was a hell of a performance by the other machine, the champ.
Yep, that's
right. So I guess the question is, what kind of adjustments do you see a guy like Petr Yan making? But before I ask you that, I got to preface it by saying, you know, there were a lot of talks about injuries in that fight, right? Peter said he couldn't throw his right hand and this and that. But here's my thing. Peter's whole style is predicated on he likes to download the data. He likes to take his time. Oftentimes he loses some early rounds. And I feel like you can't let a guy like Merab get off to such a start. Like, you get off to a deficit against Merab. I mean, Merab only gets better as the fight progresses. And one more point I want to make before you go is that people only talk about how Merab, you know, and this is very impressive. This is not something you scoff at. Merab landed 11 of 49 takedown attempts, Malcolm. However, which that already is crazy in itself. But what people fail to mention is that Merab attempted 400 total strikes, and he rocked Peter multiple times in that fight. I feel like I haven't heard anyone mention that Merab rocked Peter standing multiple times. So what do you think about Petr Yan's current form? He's on a win streak. He's back in the title fight. Do you think he can bridge the gap? Bridge the gap against the great Merab Dvalishvili?
Man, okay, so in a big sense, no. But like, you know, yes, Petr Yan's on a win streak, but the guys he's beaten versus who Merab's been fighting and putting on like legendary performances against is different. You know, and on top of that, I think that Merab is somebody that, you know, that once they became champion, they became more confident. They became more in love with the fight game. They are, you know, enjoying that moment of competition so much more. Like, he didn't have to fight again this year, but he was dying to, you know, because he's loving what he's doing. I think his love for competition right now is greater than him wanting to be the first to defend that belt that many times in a calendar year. And I just think that, you know, he is going to put on possibly a performance even better than the last one that he just put on in his last defense. For Yan to make a difference in this fight, he has to start fast. I think he has to change the approach from being patient and trying to download data and have the big moments, and from the jump have a game plan and have volume and just go and not let Merab start working his game. Because once Merab start working his game, it becomes more and more effective every single round. And we've seen that in almost all of his fights. So I do think that it might be closer. The injury talk, I mean, Merab made a great point. He said Sean claimed to be injured in their first fight, and then the second fight finished them. You know, so I don't really too much buy into it. But yeah, man, I got Merab winning and probably doing it convincingly.
Let's take a look at the champ real quick. Because, I mean, when you're talking about Merab Dvalishvili, you're talking about a guy who truly paid his dues. You know, he started his UFC career 0-2, and since that point, No one's handed him a loss ever since. And like, look at this, overcoming the adversity against a guy like Marlon Rice. You know, this is a guy that knocked out Aljamain Sterling. We're talking about one of the most dangerous bantamweights in the history of the division. And to go out there, overcome that adversity, show that championship medal. Obviously here in the Yan fight, you saw what he did there. 11 takedowns on 49 attempts, rocked him multiple times standing. Hey, look, Cejudo rocked him early too. And it's like, all right, is that all you got? You know what I mean? The way he answers, like it's not just the approach, it's the mentality too, right, Malcolm?
That's right. Yeah, he's got just that championship mentality to where no matter how ugly it gets, he doesn't shy away from the next exchange. That's the only thing he worries about is the next exchange, no matter how good or how bad the last one is. And that's what makes somebody like him such a champion and so dominant.
Absolutely. And to hand a guy like Umar Nurmagomedov his first professional defeat, I mean, like, you know, we're going to talk about it when we talk about your fight. No one is exempt from that first L. I do not care who you are, unless your name's John Jones or Habib. And I say it all the time. If they stuck around long enough, they take their first L's too. I don't care who you are. But you saw how Umar bounced back, and now he's got that fight with Figueiredo. That's going to be interesting. Let's talk about Petr Yan for a sec, man. So Peter, man, I mean, listen, I got a soft spot for him because of the way he fights. I mean, he's one of the most badass fighters in bantamweight history, but he's another guy. Look at this, getting dropped in fights and coming back. He's also a guy that can overcome adversity, Malcolm. That's
right. Man, I love Yan. He's one of the most entertaining guys. He has a style that, I mean, look at what he does to people when he does land, when he does download the data, and he does commit the shots. You don't see a lot of people in the weight class just hurting guys like that with his shots. He's just absolutely incredible, and gave Aljamain such a hard time. You know, I love the dude.
Oh, that fatal mistake though, man. You know, what's crazy about that knee he threw against Aljo? Look, you know, I like to joke around and be like, you know, when you knock a grown man out with a knee and they call him the winner, you know, that doesn't make him the winner. But the reality is that was one of the worst in-fight decision makings that I've ever seen, man.
It doesn't get much worse than that because he was winning that fight easily, you know, and just, you know, made one mistake that threw it all out the window. It's crazy, man.
Yeah, and then I was actually at the rematch. It was in Florida, you know, not too far from us. And dude, you should see my breakdown going into that. I thought that Peter was gonna kill Aljo. And look, it was a close fight. I still think there's arguments that Peter might have won it, you know, maybe 1-4-5. Okay. But like, it was a far cry from what I expected it to be. Because in the first fight, like, he was throwing him around all over the place.
Brother, Aljo made great adjustments in that fight, and he made it much closer. And I agree. I think it was super close. I could see it going either way. So I wasn't super upset with either one. But man, that was so sad to see Yan throw it away with that mistake. And then when he tries to reclaim it, it wasn't there like it was last time.
So to get down to the pick, look, I know we're both picking Merab here, but just the kind of points I want to make is that I know everyone's saying, oh, he's just got to get his takedowns going, which he did last time, no problem. But like y'all saw, he landed, you know, he threw 400 he threw 400 total strikes. I think he'll be fine on the feet too. You know, it's just, I think with Peter, it's more so instead of keeping up with the pace of Merab, he's got to have these big moments, right? Sway around with a knockdown, sway around with a wobble, you know, things like that. But I don't know, man. I don't know. I just can't pick against Merab until I see some kind of sign of him slowing down a bit. And I just don't see it. All respect to Peter, but I'm going Merab and still.
Yeah, me too. And then, like, I also think people like Yan and Corey Sandhagen, when you throw somebody so technical in front of somebody so unpredictable, they suffer. You know, like, how else does Corey Sandhagen get rocked? Only by Merab. You know what I mean? Because the way he throws his shots, the way he sets them up is not what technical strikers are used to. And Yan is that technical guy. He's got that high guard. He's got that boxing style. He's got those heavy tie kicks. But you throw Merab in there just swinging stuff and shooting and level changing, and you get hit with something out that you don't see coming, and it's going to lend well, I think, to Merab, like you said, even if they are on the feet. So, again, you know, I got Merab.
Yes, sir. And real quick, we just got a couple donations. My boy CXTTERZ with the, it's not $199, it's 199 euros. Hey, so wherever you're watching from, man, I appreciate you. Thank you for supporting the show. We also got one from Already Claimed It 101. Hey, I love that name, man. You gotta claim it in advance, you know. Donating $2 to the show. Thank you so much, my man. And let's keep things rolling. So, co-main event of the evening for the flyweight title. We got the champ, Alexandre Pantoja. He's 30-5, taking on Joshua Van, who's 15-2. currently they got it Pantoja minus 225. The comeback on Van's plus 190. So 11-year age gap. Pantoja's 35. Van is 24. Both men 5'5". Pantoja with a 3-inch reach advantage in this spot. And I know that you and I actually broke down a Josh Van fight before. I don't remember if it was the Royval fight or one of them. I know we both picked him. We're both high on him. But I think he's fighting one of the most dominant flyweight champions we've seen in a very, very long time. A guy who's already achieved greatness, but is on the path to all-time greatness should he get past Van. And but man, Van, he's landed over 100 significant strikes in multiple 3-round fights. What's this guy going to look like in a 5-round fight, man?
He's going to look good. His last fight with Brandon Royval, I tell you what, before that fight, I thought Van was good, but I did not know if he was ready for a challenge like Royval. Royval has given us great fights against great guys in the division, and I thought it was going to be a jump for him and one that he might struggle with. But, oh, my goodness, he blew my expectations out of the water. And I would love to see him do the same thing here because I feel the almost exact same way. This is such a jump. Even though it does make sense and we all want to see it, Pantoja's good. He made it look like the skill gap he showed between him and Kai France was mind-blowing. It was just he made it look like they didn't belong in the same conversation. And Kai France is good. So, I'm hopeful because I love Joshua Van, and man, that would shake the world up if he goes and conquers gold at such a young age. But it's gonna be challenging.
Yeah, no questions asked. Now, here's some things that I think Van's got going for him. Look, it's not his first or second UFC fight. This is his 10th UFC fight. He's also taking his first setback, which I talk about all the time. Super important. He's got the weight off of being undefeated in the UFC. Now he knows. Now he can just go out there and perform. And boy, has he been doing that. And it all culminated to that #1 contender fight against Brandon Royval, where, I got to pull up the numbers on that, bro, because I think that might be the fight of the year. I know there's another dude on this card, Nazim Sadykhov, who had a great fight with Nick Mata. But when you look at these numbers in the Royval versus Van fight, first of all, let's talk about how many strikes both men attempted, okay? Royval threw 468 strikes, and Josh Van threw 311. Shout out 311. That's one of my favorite bands. And significant strikes, both men landed over 200 significant strikes in a 3-round fight, Malcolm. And one more thing, because we're going to talk about Taira here in a second, who's fighting Moreno. And I liked Royval over Taira. I felt like it was Taira's turn to take his first L, and you saw how he bounced back. Yeah. But the thing about that is, Josh Van passed the Royval test. I feel like because people saying too much too soon, maybe, but like if you beat the #1 contender, you've earned this title shot, Malcolm.
Yeah, 100%, and he beat him in a very entertaining way, and there was no debate about it. Like, it was not necessarily, I wouldn't say a dominant victory, but it was a clear victory. They both had their moments, and we all walked away winning as fans with the performance that he put on. It was incredible. Gained so much respect from me.
Yeah, so let's talk about these highlights. So obviously with the champ, Pantoja, one of the greatest flyweights to ever do it. His back-taking ability is just second to none. Man. Probably some of the best I've ever seen. Hey, this knockout right here was an ATL against Wilson Hayes. The only man to ever drop him, Davison Figueiredo. And to not get knocked out by that guy who was a legendary hitter at 25s. But you start sleeping on Pantoja's hands. He'll face plant guys, but where it's at is the way he teleports to the back. He's truly one of the best to ever do it.
Yeah, teleport is the right word, because look, when he fought Kai France, like, he'd have the back and he'd drop and pull him on top of him. And that's a very risky way to take back, because if they, gain position, seeing as they already have the high position and they turn, you're on bottom, and now you have to fight your way up. But every time he did it, he was successful. And it wasn't, maybe a minute into each round, he was where he wanted to be, and not long before he finished, man. It's a real teleportation. It's crazy.
Yeah, and this fight against Kai, like you said earlier, bro, to run through a guy like that and on the feet, he got the better of the stand-up exchanges too. You could say, hey, it was the threat of the takedown, this and that kind of shut him down. But I don't care what you say. Every time that they were standing, Pantoja was out striking Kai France,
Yeah, it was and it was crazy to see that because I think we all went into that fight thinking, okay, if it's on the feet, Kai Kara France is going to put him in danger, and if it's on the ground, Pantoja is going to put him in danger. But it was Pantoja every way at every point in the fight, man. It was such a good performance, and he just looked like a world beater that night.
So here's where things get interesting because, you know, you look at the odds and this and that, and I'm not saying I don't favor Pantoja, but what I am saying is that, like, I keep going back and forth on this fight. One day I got Pantoja, one day I got Van. And when we talk about, let's talk about Van's grappling, because I think that needs to be addressed here. He's fighting 100%. Pantoja. So the times I've seen Van get taken down, I mean, dude, his get up game is ridiculous. I got some friends who have fought, you know, Josh Van before, our boy Cody Durden, and Cody told me that, like, this dude's lower body trying to take him down is like trying to take down a car, trying to take down a van, no pun intended, man. I mean,
Cody Durden can wrestle his ass off, bro. Like, he can wrestle his ass off. Like, I respect his level. So for him to say that means a lot.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And then there was another fight against this dude, Ray Saruya, and the sprawls of Josh Van were some of the nastiest sprawls I've seen in a long time. And the 2 times he did get taken down, it wasn't with anything traditional. It was actually like kind of like some weird throws that like Saruya is kind of like an expert at.
Right.
And how calm and composed Van was on bottom, getting his butterfly hooks, keeping the whizzer to prevent the back take. That is a big talking point, because you let go of that whizzer against Pantoja, I mean, you might as well tap out early, you know?
Yeah. No, that's legit, man. And, you know, I think that every fighter like him who is like a stand-up guy suffers from that. If you haven't showed extensive, you know, wrestling exchanges, they just think that you don't have it. And I don't always believe that to be true. So I think it's very possible that he shows us a very well-rounded defensive grappling, defensive wrestling game. And I also see what you're saying as well with, like, his composure, bro. When he fights, it looks like he barely even breathes out the mouth. I mean, it looks like he just is born to be in exchanges. It's crazy. And I think that's something as well that will translate into the championship fight. I don't think he's going to be any more nervous in that fight than he's been in any of his previous fights. I mean, he is just born for it.
So the big talking point, and Haymaker made a good comment. He said Van is good, but too soon. Okay, but here's my thing with that. Kind of like I talked about earlier, you know, this is not his first or second UFC fight, it's his 10th fight, and he beat the #1 contender. You beat the #1 contender, you earn the title shot. But I understand that the level Pantoja's on right now, I mean, he could be going towards all-time great status. But so to me, here's what it comes down to. I know that Pantoja is going to get him down. I know that.
100%.
But the thing about it is, if you can make Pantoja work, and this is a big if, Malcolm, but you can make Pantoja work, start to get him into that fatigue state, get back up to the feet. That's where I think there's going to be a big volume difference for Van. Now, don't get me wrong. Pantoja can crack, and Pantoja is deceptive on the feet, and he gives no fucks. He'll just go forward and, like, throw at you recklessly. You start to, oh shit, I got a block up top. Oh, now my hips are open. I'm getting taken out. So he's kind of like becoming like a GSP in a way, the way that he mixes all levels and then ultimately gets to the place he wants to be.
You know, I think the statement of he's good but too soon is a very, like, it sucks to try to break it down, because this is the thing. He's very young. He hasn't been training very long, and he hasn't been in the organization very long. But like you said, he's 8-1 in the UFC. And because he competes so frequently and he's so young, his frequency of competition and the numbers he's done in the organization doesn't give him the time on the mats to develop the game that most people would in a 9-fight UFC career. Most people would have a 9-fight UFC career in 3 to 4 years. And that's, 3 to 4 years to develop so many parts of their game. But he's done it so quickly that it's hard to think that he's made the leaps technically to be able to hang with somebody like Pantoja that's so technically, sound everywhere. And, I agree that it might be too soon, but when you do what you did in the organization and beat the #1 guy, like you said, I mean, what else is there to do other than give him his shot at the title, especially when so many people in the crowd love him. So yeah, man, we go into the fight. If he can defend the takedowns, he can march forward and continue to enforce his will after, wrestling and keep the cardio going, which I think he has the ability to do. We'll have a good fight. But if he gets to the ground and Pantoja can keep him there, it might not be that long of a night.
Yeah. Now looking at Van, I mean, Dude, I know you're a big fan of this. Just seeing the volume, the output, the
Oh yeah.
confidence. And this is something we criticize him for early in his early UFC fights, that he may have taken a little bit of too much damage. But when it's his turn, he's a guy that can take it, but he can give it too, like Floyd Mayweather used to say. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And look
Yes.
at those body rips, dude. Just disgusting, man.
Yeah, man. He really is super good at what he does. Like if you watch his fights and you watch the way he counters his shots, the way he strings together combinations, it's a style of boxing that was an incredible performance by Charles Johnson. But he does it in a way that a lot of people in MMA just don't do. And I think that's why he's so successful, man. It's such a high level boxing that's easy to sleep on, you know?
Yeah, no doubt about it. So coming down to the pick, here's my thing, man. It's like, you look, I understand favoring Pantoja. Like when we were talking about Peter and Merab, no disrespect to Peter. I love Peter, but it's kind of like, yeah, I'm picking Merab. It's just understood.
Mhm.
Whereas here, it's like today I'm picking Van. Yesterday I'm picking Pantoja. What am I going to be like Saturday night? So
Yeah.
when I talk in these terms and there's, close to plus 200 dog odds, I feel like by default I got to go with the underdog, but it's not. I'm not planting my flag in the sense that, oh, Pantoja's done or Pantoja. No, it's not. It's not even about that. It's just more so that if I'm going back and forth, this is implying that, he should win, a big percentage of this fight, where I'm thinking it might be, 55-45, not close to 70% is what I'm saying.
Yeah, and I feel the same way. I think both of them have very clear routes to victory, but obviously their ability to implement it in real time is going to be what makes that happen. So I could see Van doing the right things, keeping it on the feet, outstriking them. I don't know about finishing them because Pantoja's such a dog, such a high level fighter, but I could see him, scoring a lot of shots and winning the victory and getting the title. But I can more clearly see Pantoja having his way, man. I can more clearly see him even having big moments on the feet, getting the takedowns, getting to the back. And even if he doesn't finish them there, having the big moments on the feet, having the takedowns, and having a home on the ground would still win him a decision. So I just see it more ways than not going Pantoja's way. And that's who I'm going to have to pick.
Yeah, I feel you on that. Now, real quick, a good comment from one of the fans. Haymaker said, was Van joking when he said he could submit Pantoja in the interview? Yeah, bro. Listen,
Great debate, brother.
the kid's got a lot of swag, a lot of confidence, but he's under no illusions or delusions of grandeur in terms of that, as far as that's concerned. I know he's confident in his get-up game, his takedown defense, his submission defense, but there's no way in hell he's going to be, doing some dumbass shit like that. I can promise you that. If he's going to lose, it's going to be fair and square because of how good Pantoja is,
100%.
So, okay. So listen, you're going Pantoja. I'm going Van. May the best man win.
I'm excited about that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now, featured bout also in the flyweight division, we got the former champion, Brandon Moreno. He's 23-8-2, taking on Tatsuro Taira, who's 17-1. Currently, they got it. Tatsuro Taira minus 125. The comeback on Moreno's plus 105. So Moreno is 6 years older at 31. Both men 5'7". Both men have a 70-inch reach in this spot. So, man, this is an absolute banger. What do you think? Because it's like Taira, only being 25 years old, he's one of these young phenoms like Josh Van, where you're going to be seeing these big leaps every single time he fights. And with Moreno, at one point, I thought, like, hey, bro, you've touched gold twice. Like, to just touch gold once, but let alone lose gold and then regain it again, that's something you do not often see. And these last few fights, I mean, the way he looked against Albazi, I was like, oh, my God. But he's taking on an ever-improving Tatsuro Taira. How do you see this one going down, my man?
Man, I think this is going to be one of those fights, especially with Moreno. We don't know how much of his best days are left. We don't know if he's past his best days or not. And we don't know the leaps that we're going to see from Taira as well. So I think that this fight is one of those things where it's dependent on which version of Moreno we get, which version of Taira we get. Because I think the best version of Moreno versus the most recent Taira that we see, Moreno wins all day. I love Moreno, man. Twice. He's good everywhere. He can box. He can scramble his ass off. He's fought the highest level competition in the world. And I really like the guy. And I would see him winning, but it depends on, if we see the best version or if we start to see a decline in Moreno on that night and a rising Taira that night.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at these highlights, the skills he possesses, and what even here where he's getting dropped by Figueredo, like to get dropped. Oh, now I'm taking you down, and
Right.
just this liver kick against Kyle.
Man, I know.
Dude, you hear the crack of it when it happened live. It was like, oh my God, like a baseball.
I love the way
bat.
he stood up and walked off too. Like he knew he was him, brother. It was so good.
Straight up.
Good.
How'd you score that second Royval and Moreno fight? It was real close.
I can't remember, brother. I can't remember the fight well enough to know.
I got you. Yeah. But then these last two against Urseg and Albazi, I feel like so Moreno said that, like, hey, I got burnt out, after losing the belt for the second time, took like a year off. And since he's come back, I mean, like, he's back in form. But what's interesting about this, we talked about earlier with Taira and Royval. I actually picked Royval against Taira. Royval was like a massive underdog in that spot, like plus 275, because I wasn't sure if Taira was ready yet. And when we look at these highlights with Taira, and we get to the Royval fight here in a second, I mean, first of all, look at this absolute stud this kid is, and he's so well-rounded. He's so young and mature. But something happened in the Royval fight that made me think that he's not just a young stud, but he's possibly a future champion. I'm going to explain what that is here in a second. It's that, first of all, to injure someone with a back take, bro, like that's, this is not an accident. This is like, this dude's back take and his positioning is ridiculous. Okay,
here's what he's doing.
Here's the Royval fight. Look, he almost got knocked out in round 3, right? Mm-hmm. Like he got almost 10-8'd in round 3, possibly 10-8. Look, like the fight's almost over, as you see here. To go through this, and in the same round, Malcolm, you end the round taking the guy's back, almost choking him out. Look at that. Like, is that not the heart of a champion by Taira right there?
You damn right it is. You damn right it is, man. Like, and the same words I use for Merab is not caring about how good or bad the last exchange was. If you look forward to the next exchange and you give your all to it, that is the heart of a champion, because at any moment the fight could turn. And for him to do that in that moment, brother, he's got what it takes for sure to go as far as he can, as long as he develops the skill alongside that heart.
So when it comes down to the pick, what are you thinking?
I'm going Moreno, brother. Aside from the fact, like, again, like I said, I think it depends on the versions that we get. But like, I'm a huge Moreno fan, man. I love that dude. He collect Funko Pops just like I do. You know what I mean? I like the way he boxes. He's worked with Canelo before. I was all into that lore. I like Moreno a ton. He's an awesome dude. And honestly, I could see it going either way. I feel like it's a pick 'em kind of fight. I mean, you see how close the odds are. But if I have to go one or the other, I'm gonna lend it to Moreno and giving it to the experience and assuming that we get the best version of him that we've seen.
Yeah, no, I completely understand, and nothing's going to surprise me here, but man, I'm actually on the opposite side.
Oh, man.
No, I mean, listen, one of us is going to be right. And the thing about it is, all respect to Moreno, the fact that he's picked himself back up, had those incredible performances, but I think there's something special about this kid, Taira, and also only being 25, and you're already in the top 5 now. You had a split decision with the #1 contender. And again, talking about, is Van, is it too much too soon for Van, like we talked about in the co-main event? Well, Van passed the Royval test, right? Whereas Tatsuro, he put on a great effort, but just a little bit short, but it was still a split decision type fight. Mm-hmm. And he had a lot of moments, and he showed the heart of a champion, bounces back, against kind of an outmatched opponent, but he treated him very accordingly. Now he's getting this other step up in competition against, one of the greatest to ever do it in this division. But I think there's certain intangibles about Taira, the size for the weight class, the fact that he's like 25 is going to be making massive leaps every single time we see him. There's an argument that that Moreno might be a finished product. And my final point is, we talk about Pantoja's back takes. What about Taira's back takes? Those back takes are like probably the best in the division besides the champ.
He's slick. Yeah. And again, like I said, Moreno can scramble his ass off. You know what I mean? So it'll be exciting to see how does Taira do when he puts Moreno in these positions. And, Moreno's, like I said, he's rolled around with the best of them. So it's going to be a great fight. I think that regardless of which one of us is right, we will both be entertained by what we get to see that night.
Oh, yeah. And it's going to answer a lot of questions about the future of the flyweight division. So
that's right.
I cannot wait, my man. And like, dude, could you imagine, either a number one contender fight or a title fight between Van
Oh
and
my
Taira.
goodness. Oh my goodness. I hope that's in the future for us, man. That is a banger, bro. Absolute banger.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right. Well, moving on. I know you're super excited about this one because next up in the bantamweight division, we got a matchup
Ooh.
between Triple C Henry Cejudo. He's 16-5, taking on Payton Talbott, who's 10-1. Currently, they got it Payton Talbott minus 255. The comeback on Henry
What?
is plus 215. So Henry's 11 years older at 38. He's 6 inches shorter at 5'4", but he's only got a 2.5 reach disadvantage at 67.5 inches of reach. Firstly, shout out Triple C, man. I mean, like,
Yes.
Olympic gold medalist, flyweight champion, and defended the flyweight belt, bantamweight champion, and defended the bantamweight belt. And the guys he beat, you know, I mean, to dethrone Mighty Mouse Johnson, I mean, that was like a massive deal.
Yes. Yes.
And you know, I had a lot of bones to pick with Mighty Mouse about certain things, never about his skills or his title run or anything like that, but more so about how, like, you know, there was a super fight on the table between Mighty Mouse and TJ Dillashaw. TJ was going to drop the 25s, and DJ turned it down and opted to fight Ray Borg instead, which, I mean, you know what the bigger fight is, right? Champ versus champ super fight, or Ray Borg, like you understand. And so that, just as a fan, I hated that. And then you see Cejudo win the flyweight belt off Mighty Mouse. He's like, yeah, give me TJ Dillashaw for my first title.
What he did to him. Oh my goodness.
Knocked him out in the first like minute or so, you know. So that just makes me respect Cejudo so much. Then goes up to bantamweight, goes up against Moraes, who at the time was one of the scariest finishers in bantamweight history, and then defends the belt against the then greatest bantamweight of all time, Dominic Cruz. So what Henry accomplished, obviously we got to criticize his early retirement, because, I mean, what, bro, I wish he would have got on the mic after the Cruz fight and called out the next big name and set up, you know, something big for himself. But yeah, Dana criticized it. I criticized it. He's come back. Look, he's competed in these fights. He's had moments, but he's just not getting it done. And also physically speaking, I don't see the guy that's in that same, you know, shape training at Neuro Force One like he was before. Don't get me wrong. He'll always be an elite athlete, even with a belly, but like, I don't see the same fire I once saw from Cejudo.
Yeah. You know, it's so crazy how, like, a matchup like this comes together. You know what I mean? Because the Cejudo we're talking about today is not the Triple C that, you know, we're going to see the highlights of before the fight. And then, you know, Payton Talbott, with his climb up, looking to get into the rankings, fighting the legendary Triple C is absurd to think about. But again, like you said, it's not that Triple C, you know, that had those titles and those defenses. So it's absurd to think that in this universe, those paths cross and we get to see this fight next weekend. But I kind of agree, you know, with Talbot being the favorite, which is wild for me to even think of, because, man, Henry's name goes up there with the best of them.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Because, I mean, when you're talking about Triple C, I mean, oh man, he also knocked out Wilson Hayes just like Pantoja did. But look, to inside trip a guy like Mighty Mouse at the time when he was champ, you know, breaking all the records he broke. Oh, yeah, and this is what we were talking about. Just smoked TJ Dillashaw, which I'm like, yo, Demetrius, why don't you want this fight, bro? Like, easy money, like, get your name up there. Like, I still don't get that decision to the day. But here against Moraes was the scariest guy at the time, and to take all his best shots up front and then break him the way he did, and then, oh my god! But look at the physique on Henry here, man. Like, you see how Henry looks, and look at the shape he's in. But then he comes back and he's a little flabby, and I mean, he's a gamer. Don't get me wrong. Like I said, look, he's got moments in these fights, but like, it's few and far between.
Yeah.
So yeah, you know, like, what do you think about the current form compared to what he used to be?
Yeah, I think it's rough that we call it that, but, you know, it's flabby. You know, he's not the prime shape, you know, ripped up. And we can expect to see a high pace from bell to bell Henry that fought DJ, man. I think that we are going to get probably the most watered down version of Henry we've ever seen. I hate to even say that out of my mouth, man, but I do think that's what we're going to get. And it's going to make for Talbot to have the perfect opportunity to have a legendary name on his resume and then crack the rankings.
Yes, sir. Now, on the other side with Payton Talbot. Now, I want to give you the honor of talking through the Payton Talbott highlights, man. I know one day, let this be like your little prep for the ESPN desk. You know what I'm saying? Because
That's right.
look at this guy, Payton Talbott. Tell me what you think.
And so from the very first time we ever saw Payton Talbott, I think we all fell in love with his confidence, his forward pressure, his stiff straight shots, his ability to just make people bend to his will in the cage. I mean, look at this. I mean, he's on his back with his tongue out, throws that knee at Cameron Simon. And at the time, Cameron Simon was one of the biggest prospects in the division, you know, only derailed by C-Rod, who is now at this point, we know, a great fighter. Bang, knocks him out. What, 12, 13 seconds into the first round? This guy was passing every test until we seen him against Barcelos. And now we all know Barcelos is legit. And I think that put us in a state of questioning for how good Payton Talbott is. But look at this throw, man. The guy has moves in his bag, comes back, fights Lima, and puts on one of the best fights he can, technically speaking, and spent most of that fight on the ground in top position, showing the world that he's not afraid to go there. Had his tongue out, smiling the whole time. 3 rounds, kept the pace high. You know, even though I think we would have loved to see a knockout in that Lima fight, he came out there and answered the questions in that fight. And that's why we have him now going on to fight Triple C to crack the rankings. I mean, it's crazy, man. It's a great time to be alive and a UFC fan.
Hey, shout out to my producer, Meticulous, that's watching this right now. Why don't you go ahead and clip Malcolm's breakdown of the Payton highlights so we can show the ESPN officials that
Please do.
This man can talk behind the desk. But yeah, like I agree with everything you said. And also, Payton wasn't exempt from his first L either. Like y'all got the same record, and look how he bounced back. And speaking of first UFC Ls, Felipe Lima, another hot prospect, he had to take his first UFC L. Now he's going to bounce back. I got no doubt about it. So this is just how the game goes. But anyways, the way I see this fight going down is, yeah, I think Triple C might hit his signature inside trip once or twice. Yeah, I think he might, land a couple shots. But I think that Payton's going to get back up to the feet, and then the takedowns are going to be few and far between. Then Henry's going to start to gas out a little bit. And from range, I mean, this is the tallest and longest opponent that Cejudo's ever fought, right? I mean,
I didn't know that. That's crazy.
Like before that, Cruz, who was considered one of the bigger bantamweights at the time, 5'8", this dude, Talbott's like 5'10" with a 70-something inch reach, man.
Yeah, he's huge. Yeah.
And 5'10" compared to 5'4", 5'4" listed Malcolm, because I got theories that he might be 5'2", 5'3".
Stop it. Don't do that, brother. No. Oh my goodness. I think what you're saying is head on. I don't think we're gonna see Henry that can push the pace. And if he goes on the back foot at all, that is where Payton Talbott lives. I mean, every fight that he's dominant in, he's walking forward and he's confident. His chance high. He don't care to trade because he's gonna get what he wants out of these exchanges. And he's on that front foot. He's landing shots on Henry Cejudo, having his way. If Henry cannot take it to the ground and dominate him there, we're gonna see Payton Talbott with a ranking next to his name.
Yeah, so like I said, first round, or so. I see an inside trip from Henry, land a couple punches, whatever. But when Talbot establishes his range, gets his distance, starts to get that flow state going, I see a beatdown by the end of round 2 and possibly a finish in round 3. And I do not think that Talbot's going to show Cejudo too much respect, like some people often do when they fight that first legend. You know what I'm saying?
No, Payton Talbot give a damn about a legend, bro. He loves to fight. He loves to walk forward. His confidence is just who he is, and I don't care who you put him in front of. I feel like if you put him in front of John Jones, he still was going to try his hand at walking forward and sending those straight shots down the line. So I don't think we'll see those jitters when he goes against Triple C.
Yeah, for sure. And hopefully the odds come down, man. You know what I'm saying? But
that's right.
Next up in the light heavyweight division, kicking off the main card, we got the former champ Jan Blachowicz. He's 29-11-1, taking on Bogdan Guskov, who's 18-3. Currently, they got it Jan -130. The comeback on Bogdan Guskov is +110. But here's where things get interesting, Malcolm. Bogdan's 33. Jan is 42, and he turns 43 in February. Okay. Jan is 6'2", Bogdan 6'3". Jan 2-inch reach advantage at 78 inches of reach. Like, okay, so we got to talk about Jan being 42, turning 43 in February. But to his credit, Malcolm, he does have a style built for longevity. He doesn't take a lot of damage. He's defensively responsible. He's got a lot of power, which power is the last thing to go. Speed's the first thing to go.
That's right.
Power's the last thing to go. I mean, in this division, Dan Henderson rematch Bisping for the belt, and Dan Hendo was like 44-45. And even though he lost that fight, he dropped Bisping in that fight. So I'm just saying, power's the last thing to go. But here's my thing. Who do I think is the more, well put together fighter, more experienced, touch gold, did all these things? I mean, it's Jan Blachowicz, but Father Time is a real thing. And I get it. This is not like your weight class being 42, 205, and heavyweight, you get a little bit more wiggle room, but still, I think at some point the bottom's going to drop off. And it's just, where do you rate Guskov at this point? My thing with Guskov, he comes into the UFC against Volkan Oezdemir, which was a massive step up in competition compared to the regional guys he was fighting. He also wasn't exempt from his first UFCL. And, he had to take that. But since then, he's rattled off 4 finishes in a row. Hey, I need to refresh my screen real quick because my shit froze so I can play the highlights. So just give me 1 second. But tell me what you think about Blachowicz and Guskov in the meantime.
Brother, I'm a casual when it comes to this matchup. And I kind of hate to say it. You know what I mean? It's almost wild to say, but Blachowicz, I think is how you pronounce his name. The thing that I know the most notable about him is when Izzy tried to move up and achieve greatness, he was the one that, shut that down. He's got a very extensive resume. Like you said, the bigger weight classes lend better to older ages. So, I mean, I don't know. I got to see how good this Guskov guy is. I don't know if it's going to be as close as the odds show, but with Blachowicz having that experience at the level he has, having the names on his resume he has, I feel like he's probably going to be pretty tough for Guskov to win.
Well, this is how good Guskov is. Let's take a look at him. You know what I'm saying? So on his regional scene, he did what he's supposed to do to get that UFC opportunity. He's always been a kill or be killed fighter. That's just the bottom line, Very, very heavy hitter. And he's also got some low-key swag on the feet. I'll show you after this one. This was the debut. Huge step up in competition. Yeah. Also, when you fight with your hands down, you're going to be susceptible to things. So this one didn't go his way. But since that point, look, like he's got that hands down style, but he's got a lot of swag. And he's got some goodness. You see what I'm saying? Against Ryan Spann? Yeah. Like his timing on those shots is real good. And he's getting that confidence that he belongs now. And that's what I like to see. And he can overcome adversity, as you saw here. I mean, look how he treated this guy after that back take. I mean, come on.
I'm not going to lie. Volkan Oezdemir is your UFC debut? Who did he piss off? Why did that even happen? That is absurd. That's crazy. But it looks like, I mean, he took that loss like he was supposed to and came back and wreaked hell on the division. Goodness gracious.
Yeah, came back, 4-fight win streak, beat 2, ranked guys that have headline cards and are mainstays in the top 15, like Nikita Krylov and Ryan Spann, who, I know they've had hit or miss performances, but they are still mainstays and big step ups in competition compared to who he had been fighting before. But when you're talking about the former champ, Jan Blachowicz, I mean, you're talking about, when he came to the UFC, that liver kick against Ilir Latifi was just disgusting. And when you hear it with the sound, the crack, standing rear naked choke on Devin Clark.
Oh, my goodness.
He's got some stuff, man. Oh, shit. Yeah. Against Rocco.
Wow.
Dude, Jan in his prime was just this one against Ray. Dude,
oh, my goodness.
Yeah. And then this.
Yeah, I watched this one.
Izzy tried to be double champ status, and Jan put that to bed. Yep. But Glover got his moment under the lights, under the sun. I love to see it.
Another person that competed very late in the ages.
Yeah, exactly. A guy who won his belt in his 40s. So he gave Ankalaev a hell of a fight for the first 3 rounds. But I guess one similar theme that I'm going to talk about in Jan's most recent fights is he's starting to slow down as fights progress. He needs to fight at a super measured pace. And even in this Alex fight, he did good in that first round, but after that, he gassed terribly. And this Olberg fight, look, it's impressive that you had a very close fight with Olberg, especially considering Olberg's about to fight Ferreira for the belt. But one thing I've always said about Olberg is strictly a counter fighter. Olberg doesn't like to go first. Olberg likes for you to come at him. And that's where he times his disgusting counters. And Yan, being a very low output guy, you know, he wasn't really leading much. So when you're forcing a counter guy like Olberg to lead, it just kind of, it's not, you know, it just made for kind of like a low, tepid fight.
Right.
Whereas Guskov is going to get right in your face and make you fight. And that's where I kind of think that, you know, a guy that's going to turn 43 in 2 months, he might not be able to fight at that pace. Although, yeah, look, skills-wise, Jan's better across the board. You know, I think the low kicks could be a big weapons. I think the takedowns are there. The legendary Polish power, something that will never leave him. But fighting at a high pace is where I have concerns, Malcolm. That's something I think Guskov could possibly bring to the table.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Obviously, styles make matchups. How you broke down Olberg versus Jan Blachowicz makes a lot of sense. And from what I can tell, this Guskov kid comes out guns blazing. So, you know, if he does make it through the first round without getting hit with that Polish power and Jan starts to fade, I mean, it could very heavily see the odds change in Guskov's favor to win, and maybe not just win, but even find a finish. So I don't know, man. I feel like it's kind of like a pick 'em. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. And to me, look, again, like I said, yeah, Jan's got the better skills, the better experience, all these things. But bro, he's turning fucking 43 in February. And that's I know it's the upper weight classes, but at some point, and even in these fights he's had, yes, they're against some of the best guys in the world, but there's been certain visuals that I don't like. And as you get older, like, he's not going to be going into prime form. He was in prime form a bunch of years ago. So the fact that he's been able to maintain his place in the division, and, you know, his skills are still on point, you love to see it. But I do think he fights at such a lower pace, and I think that I just can't do it with the 43. I'm gonna go with the underdog Guskov here, and we'll see what happens, you know?
Yeah, I kind of agree with you, man. Like, with the information I've been given with my casual take on this fight, I do kind of believe Guskov will be the way to go. So I'm gonna agree with you on this one.
So now we just finished the main card. So we're going to talk about Malcolm's last fight, do a little fan Q&A like we always do. But before we do that, I got to cut a quick promo for my sponsor. If you're looking for a sportsbook that doesn't limit winners or play games when it's time to get paid, then you need to check out my friends at Bet105. Super high limits so you can get down whatever you want on any sport. And when it's time to get paid, no KYC, no stupid games, no stupid prizes. They're not going to send you a verification code, then by the time you enter it, it's already expired. Win your bets and get paid out whenever you want. Now, we talk about this all the time. We're going to keep talking about it. Split decision insurance. We're back in Vegas this weekend. You know Adelaide Burr is going to be sitting cage side. You know there's a chance Ron McCarthy is going to be there, and you don't know how these judges are going to go about ruining these decisions. So if your fighter wins a split decision, no big deal. You get paid out. It is what it is. But your fighter loses that split decision, Bet105 are going to give you 25% of your money back. So my friends, go to bet105.ag, use my promo code HalfTheBattle, deposit $100 and get a $50 free bet at bet105.ag using my promo code HalfTheBattle. Now let's get back to the show. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Brother, you know how to make a promo. That was pretty good. I'm not going to lie. That made me laugh. I like it.
I appreciate you. Hey, anyone want to sponsor me? Want me to talk about your product like that on Half the Battle? Hit me up. Y'all know where to find me. So this is what we're going to do now. I'm going to interview Malcolm. We're going to talk about the last fight, some other stuff. Then we're going to do, you know, as tradition on Half the Battle, the fan Q&A. So get those questions going, and let's get into it, man. So firstly, like I've already mentioned many times on today's episode, and it's not just that I'm mentioning on today's episode. I've been mentioning this for fucking 10 years since I started this show. No one is exempt from that first L. I don't care who you are, unless it's John Jones or Habib, but like I said, they stick around long enough, they will take their first L's too. Because this is not boxing where you take one L and all of a sudden you're the biggest piece of shit anyone's ever seen. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because some of the greatest fighters in the sport, Max Holloway, 8 losses. Charles Oliveira, 11 losses. Anderson Silva, 11 losses. And Anderson Silva had 4 losses before he even made his UFC debut. So that's just kind of what I'm trying to say here, that it's not the end of the world, right? Which, I mean, you already know that, but we just got to preface things. So first thing I want to know is, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, brother. Like, speaking from a place of being, 2, almost 3 weeks removed from the fight, I'm in a very, very good place. I'm back in the gym, being able to put work in is the easiest way to ease an athlete's mind, especially after going through a loss. So I'm doing good. But I'd be lying if I said it was not a tough road just to get to where I'm at today, let alone the things I still have to make sure I do between now and when I get back in the ring.
Yeah. So, I mean, listen, that I don't care what anyone says. They can say fraud check, but like, if you actually got fraud checked, you and I would be having a completely different discussion. If you quit, you and I would be having a different discussion. You know what I'm saying? Like, so to me, that's not exactly what happened. To me, firstly, you got to give a lot of credit to Ethan Ewing, who's an absolute stud. And 100%. Then you got to talk about the circumstances going into that fight. But we'll talk about the circumstances in a sec. Mm-hmm. First, let's give some credit to Ethan and to yourself. Firstly, how the fuck did you eat that head kick in round 2?
Bro, it's sad to say this, man, but like, I got a chin. I didn't want to prove it. I didn't want to prove it. You know what I mean? It takes a lot to rock me, bro. I mean, I've had some hard sparring sessions. I've took some hard shots. And that kick, bro, like, it was like the least of my worries. You know what I mean? I was just focused on putting more pressure on forward and trying to, break this guy. But he's good. He did great, man. Like you said, I think first and foremost, he deserves so much credit for being as good as he is. And it sucks that, it kind of gets a little bit overshadowed by me not being as good as people said I was, being the narrative at least.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't think that you're not as good as people thought. I think there's a lot of other things.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, I asked how you ate that head kick. How the hell did he eat that spinning back elbow?
Bro, and dog, listen, he eats the elbow and immediately responds with a hook. Like, bro, if that does not tell you about the type of guy I was in a fight with, and that's the last 5 seconds of round 2. So we've been dog fighting for 9 minutes and 55 seconds, and I hit him with a spinning elbow like that, and guess what? Bang, he's still there. Like, that is a fighter, not just a fighter, but man, what an athlete, what kind of heart, self-belief. I mean, he had everything he was supposed to be able to put on a performance like that.
And I'm glad you mentioned his follow-up shot, because I wrote down, Ethan must drill the fuck out of those Dutch or touch drills, however you want to talk about them. Block 1, 2, 3, block 2, 3, 2. Like, the fact that he was able to return so fast with volume and pressure, as soon as you landed some bombs on him, and it's like he could have taken a step back. It's like the fact that block, boom, 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 like, that's very impressive. He must be drilling the hell out of that.
Listen, bro, I think like that is one example to kind of tell the story about how technical of a fight he fought. But that was the difference maker, brother. Like, the fight got dirty, but it's because I enforced a dog fight and he did not give it to me. He stayed technical. He didn't throw bombs, get out of position. He waited for his chances, and he scored 4 or 5 shots and worked his foot, moved out of the way, got where he wanted to be, and tried to engage on his terms. That kid was technical, and man, he's good. He deserves to be there.
Yeah, so blue collar versus blue collar. That's something that's been talked about a lot lately. I know you talked about that recently. I know it sucks you don't get the bragging rights on this one, but is it still cool to see, 2 guys that, I mean, y'all put your hard hats on, y'all got the lunch boxes packed, like, y'all are 2 like admirable individuals. What do you think about that whole dynamic?
All right, now I'm gonna give you the real insider breakdown, which I kind of talked about it a little bit, but he is in the construction industry, but he is a safety professional. So let me explain what that means. He doesn't have tools in his hand on the job site. He has a clipboard and a pen, making sure people are following safety protocol. So when I'm on a job site and I'm trying to get shit done and it's a shutdown and I got 30 minutes to make this weld, he's going to come over there and make sure I have my harness on. I'm following the rules. I'm not abandoning, my safety glasses under my welding hood. Like this is the guy on the job site that me and my guys in the Union Brotherhood hate, right? And I say that just to give the lore of it, because to be real, people like him are necessary, because without them, we were killing ourselves on the job site, literally. Like if you look at the jobs in the 90s and before, when they were bidding jobs and coming up with the contracts, they used to bid in those numbers the amount of money they'd pay lawsuits to pay to families from people that died on the job site, because safety was just not respected. And people like him cleaned up the industry to make sure we were going home to our families, our kids, and still putting food on the table. So he's a necessary evil, but he did not do what I did, brother. Like, you know what I mean? I put on the hard hat, the pearl snap button downs, the cargo pants, and the steel toe boots, laid in the dirt, made wells that you couldn't see without a mirror, right? And he was the guy who watched me do it and then went back to his office on the AC in a rolling chair in front of a computer and communicated to the people of the company whether we was not following protocols. He was filling out spreadsheets. So he's not blue collar in that sense. He is walking around with a white hat with a chin strap on it. And in my industry, if you do that, you get clowned. So I respect dude. You got to pay the bills. You got to do what you got to do. But I had people from the Brotherhood all over the country texting me, bro, we lost to a safety guy. He is not the blue collar that I am. He was in the industry, much respect to him. He still had to do 10-hour shifts and go and train, but it was a little bit different. That's all.
Yeah, no, I got you. Tough pill to swallow, but it is what it is.
That's right. I might have got a little passionate, but I had to paint the whole picture there. For sure.
No, I got you. So I love that your whole identity isn't tied to being undefeated. Like we understand that this is not boxing, and some guys, when they lose that they never come back the same ever again, and I don't feel like that's the case with you, because oftentimes when I see fighters taking L's, especially this is your first L and it was Madison Square Garden, big pay-per-view, I didn't see you pointing the finger. I didn't see you making a laundry list of excuses. I saw you giving Ethan the credit he deserved, and you had a serious talk with your coaches. And I mean, there's so many things to say about where I'm going with this. So why don't you just take it from here?
Yeah, man. There's many things that went wrong. Fight week, fight negotiations, shakeouts, performance. There's so many things that went wrong, and there's so many people that are in some way a contributing factor to these things going wrong. But at the end of the day, I am the last checkpoint for every single one, because I'm the one that walks in that cage. Film study, mentality, the psychology I'm competing from, a game plan, every single thing, my preparation in my camp, the things I'm working in my camp, every single thing I take full accountability of, because if I do that, I can fix every single thing. You understand what I'm saying? I can make sure that I set the protocol for me and my camp to make sure we're doing these things as far as the fight camp goes, the film study goes, the fight negotiations moving forward go. Just every single thing, I know where it went wrong, and I know how I can take responsibility for it and make sure that it doesn't happen again, technically, and everything outside of the cage as well. So I embrace every single bit of it. And regardless of all the excuses I have as to why this loss is not as bad on my resume, I don't care about it, because he was nonetheless able to show me technical holes I have, and they will be fixed.
Yeah. Now, obviously, there's things that I can talk about, and certain things I'll just tell you privately. But what I will tell you, what I will ask you about publicly is, I mean, how come we didn't ask for, 140-pound catch weight, 138.5, like make the guy cut down a little bit? Because bro, when I saw you weighing in at 143, like firstly, the day before weigh-ins, and we'll talk about Cody Haddon in a second, because I got a lot to say about that. But before we get into that, when I heard that it was an 145-pound fight, bro, that the night before weigh-ins, like I had a panic attack. Not because like I don't believe in you or this, it's because I've been in the game so long, and these last-minute switch-ups, like new opponent, new style, new weight class, like let me tell you an example from back in the day. So firstly, let me Google when the fuck this fight was. But there was a fight that was supposed to go down. So this is in 2011. There was a UFC main event that was supposed to go down between Nate Marquardt and Rick Story. Okay. And on the week of the fight, this is a main event for a fight night, Malcolm. This is not a prelim, main event. On the week of the fight, Nate Marquardt tests positive for steroids.
Oh.
And Nate Marquardt, he's a well-rounded guy, but he's mostly known for being like a striker, big power, this and that. Mm-hmm. And so they need to find a replacement, right? So they find a dude to come in on like 48 hours named Charlie Brenneman. Charlie Brenneman is strictly a wrestler, right? So everyone's thinking, oh, 48 hours. No, it is Rick Story. He was getting ready for Marquardt. He's going to kill Charlie Brenneman. Charlie Brenneman goes out there and upsets Rick Story in a UFC main event on on a day or two short notice. And we're talking about a guy in Rick Story who beat former UFC champion Johnny Hendricks, had a life and death fight with a prime Calvin Gastelum. Like Rick Story had like one of those big win streaks in the UFC at the time. And this was his big main event opportunity against Nate Marquardt. Marquardt pisses hot. They bring in Brenneman, completely different style matchup. And Brenneman goes in there and beats him by decision. And it was like, oh my God. What? So that was the first time that I saw things like that happen. And ever since then, I just hate last minute switch ups, up a weight class, this and that. Like, how come y'all, or I don't know if you did or didn't, but did you try to be like, hey, let's make this dude cut down to 140, 138.5. Like let's stack the odds in our favor. Because when I see you weighing in at 143, like I'm not saying I didn't think you were going to win, but I'm just saying I hate that shit because I want all the chips stacked in your favor.
So first of all, thank you for asking the question, because I haven't been able to talk about this publicly. And I want to preface this by saying nothing I say takes away from what Ethan did. Kid is a stud. He deserves to be in the UFC, and he beat me that night. He was better than me. But I weighed in at 143 with this necklace on. This is a thick Sterling Silva necklace on. 143, I weighed in with this on. And the night before I went to sleep, I talked to the nutrition team and told them what my weight was. They made me a shaker bottle worth of a smoothie. They weighed it. It was 1.5 pounds. And they also gave me a 0.5 pound of water. They said, drink this and eat this smoothie so we can try to put some weight back on you before weigh-ins. And I still weighed in 2 pounds light. Well, 3 pounds light if you consider the 146 limit that I had. So I think it's it goes without saying that I was beyond on track to make 135 easily. And I did a lot of things, particularly with the nutrition team, to make sure my weight cut was going to be that good. But as to speaking on why I didn't pull for things to be stacked in my favor, it was 4:00 on Thursday, and they were sending names into a group chat, and my weight cut was to start at 6 p.m. And I responded to that group chat with my managers, my team, and whoever else was in there. And I said, I will fight whoever. Y'all make it happen and tell me what to do. And I rolled over, I locked my phone, and I tried to take a small nap before it was time for me. I had to go out and do a photo shoot at 5 p.m. and get back to the hotel and do my weight cut. So I wanted to rest. And me being the fighter that I am, bro, I didn't care. Because, listen, man, a lot of people mistake the fighter's mentality for cockiness. And I don't, in my heart, feel like I was too cocky. I felt like I was going to get a good matchup, and I thought that I was everywhere I needed to be mentally, physically, psychologically to go in there and win that fight. And unfortunately, I was not aware of the caliber of opponent that I was competing against, to keep it simple. And I found out when I walked in thinking I was going to beat him off talent.
Yeah. Now, you probably can't mention this publicly, but if you can, go ahead. and not, tell me later. Can you tell me some of the other names that were presented to you?
There was only one other guy that I saw. His last, I'll tell you, I can't remember it. Brother, when I say I took that message and rolled over, like, that's legit what happened. But I'll pull up the group chat. I'll tell you some of the names. I just don't know them off the top of my head. Yeah. And also, we was in such a peculiar situation because the person that we had to fight had to be able to fly out and make it by the next morning to get the weigh-ins. They had to also be able to have medicals that were good too, as well as eyes. And, you know, a lot of his stuff was good because he just competed the week before. So it was a lot of boxes that had to get checked. And they said Ethan was the guy. And I didn't care who it was that they was sending me because, you know, I thought I was ready.
Yeah. Okay. Now, I still want to talk about the fight a little bit, certain things like, dude, your get up game and usage of the wall and getting back to that cage. I can tell you've been working on that. Those backdoor escapes. Like, okay. I feel like, listen, you didn't get the result, but showed your heart, showed you could be in a dogfight, showed your get up game. So I like that, but hold on. Before we talk about, I want to talk about Cody Haddon for a second. Now, you are super classy. You know, you wished him nothing but the best, a speedy recovery, this and that. So what I'm about to say, this is coming from Daniel. This is not coming from Malcolm. So Malcolm, if you want to say no comment, if you want to say you disagree, by all means.
Yeah,
so I just need to preface this by saying this is coming from me.
Okay.
So this is not the first time that Cody Haddon has pulled out of a fight, you know, very short to the fight. You know, he was supposed to fight Alexandre to pull Ilya's brother. Same shit happened. I had people being like, Cody Haddon fought Alexandre. No, that was Colby Thickness that fought Alexandre, not Cody Haddon. Cody Haddon pulled out of that fight like a week or two before as well. Now, here's my thing. You fly all the way from Perth, Australia, where they're known for being some serious savages, man. Like, those are some tough motherfuckers. And who the fuck breaks their foot the night before weigh-ins? Like, I get you have a lingering injury, okay, but the night before weigh-ins, like, aren't you wrapped in towels? Aren't you sitting in the sauna? Like what the hell is this guy doing? And that's my first question. Here's my second question, or my second comment. Have you seen a single picture of Cody Haddon with a boot? Have you seen a single picture of an x-ray of Cody Haddon's foot? Because all I saw was a chat GPT generated, you know, statement from his management. Cody didn't even say shit. Now, shout out to his management. They gave you credit because, look, you're a classy guy. You were gracious. You even went as far as being like, hey, man, I wish you a speedy recovery, all the best, this and that. That's the kind of guy you are. But from my perspective, I mean, have any of y'all in the chat seen a picture of Cody Haddon in a boot? And have you, any of y'all in the chat seen Cody Haddon with an x-ray? Because I haven't heard shit from Cody Haddon after he pulled out of the second fight in a row against a top prospect. So to quote Nick Diaz, I don't think he's hurt. I think he's scared.
So I will be real. Since I was told that he broke his foot from that moment forward, like he hasn't even really crossed my mind. Other than the only way he's crossed my mind is, and this is not cope, but I believe in my heart I'd fought a better fight against him. I had a game plan, I had a strategy, I had respect for this guy. Like, I knew how good he was. I knew how good he was. So in my heart, I think I would have fought a much more technical fight against Cody Haddon, and I believe I'd won it. But as far as, like, you know, thinking about where's the picture of the boot, you know, where's the evidence, where's the, you know, him giving an effort to give me some type of closure about the situation, it hasn't crossed my mind. I will hope that it's being honest, but in this fight game, I know anything's possible. So hopefully it's truthful, and if it is, you know, I hope that he's dealing with it all right.
Yeah, look, I wish him nothing but the best, and if he's truly injured, then, you know, I take that back. But all I got to say is he better prove that he can show up to the octagon at least twice before he ever gets the opportunity to fight you again. That's from my perspective.
No, I agree. His track record is starting to look bad. I don't know how the people in the organization feel about it. But I do think it would be unfair for him to be able to possibly get, you know, a rub off my hype and compete against me after I had to fight somebody on 48 hours notice that turned out so bad for me.
So again, something I already said, I love the maturity. I love the fact that you're not pointing the finger, because it's easy to point the fingers about certain things. I mean, we talked privately, you know, but like, this isn't the time to point the finger. This is the time to look internally. You know, you had, talk about, you sat down with your coaches and like y'all went frame by frame on that fight, not just the fight, but what happened in the lead up, everything, the no excuses, but what you need to do going forward to dial in properly to where this never happens again. If they do throw you that curveball, because no matter what, I think one thing you realize is, hey, this is the UFC level. Like, it don't matter who you're up against. Like, these guys all got the same goal. And, you know, this is a mental thing that can easily be fixed. But yeah, tell me about the conversation with your coaches.
So that conversation was tough for many reasons, because every single one of us had to take accountability for something that was done wrong. I think everybody knows this, but the relationship me and my coaches have is founded on a family bond. So everything we do is family in a family way. So it's not always the same type of structure and standard that a lot of guys have with these big camps. So for instance, like, brother, I brought my 6-month-old child. My coach Jake brought his 3-year-old son and his 4-month-old daughter. My other coach had his fiance or wife with him as well. Like, we moved as a family unit. We went to eat as a family unit, but you think about these two little babies and this 3-year-old running around being crazy. Like, there was a lot of stress on me in a lot of situations that I dealt with. Logistically, it was a nightmare trying to do a lot of things because they stayed at a B&B off site. And so the times I was trying to hit shakeouts and stuff, we was missing a little bit. We went into that fight without having a thorough film study. Again, mistake on my behalf for allowing that to happen, but as well as my coaches, they watched more than I did, but we still didn't have a formal meeting that you could expect to be more standard in bigger camps before going into a fight. And there was so much. That's just a small list of things. Like, even listen, brother, I still get excited when I warm up in front of superstars. You understand? So I'm in front of Benil Dariush doing my fight day shakeout in the morning. I'm cracking the pants because I feel so good being around somebody like this. I'm warming up in MSG where Carlos Prates is playing music off his JBL speaker, bro. I'm cracking and probably spending more energy than I'm supposed to. I'm walking all over New York with my son on my hip because Ubers are a nightmare and the subway don't get you within striking distance of everywhere you got to go. There's a lot of things I did wrong. I made mistakes. Some places my team made mistakes. And some realizations, we had about the way the fight game works. And we talked about everything. I mean, it was a couple hours of a conversation. I've got a notepad. It was 9 pages of notes just on my fight, everything I did right, everything I did wrong, every exchange, timestamp for. And it was hard because, I did a lot wrong, technically speaking. But as always, my team, every hard conversation we've ever had, they've only shown me every time that they are the people I want to spend my life with. And they did the same thing in this conversation. Every point that needed to be taken accountability for, they did. Everything I needed to hear, they told me. And we walked away with the same love we had for each other before, with the same mission we had before, and the same confidence in our ability to accomplish that mission before when we left that table.
Yeah. So obviously, I still feel like that fight was within reach with a couple adjustments. That you talked about that. This is a valuable learning experience for you, man. You got to see how people really are. Like, they love you when you're doing what you're doing. You know what I mean? Like, when you're knocking dudes the what out. But when, you take your first setback, which to me, it's like, okay, had you quit in the fight or had you, I don't know, got grinded out for 3 rounds, but like, it was the fight of the month, man, against, no one knew who he was, but they're gonna know who he is. Like, I got so much respect for Ewing, man. I think that he could be in the rankings one day, and I think he's going to have a bright career, and this is going to age well. So, all in all, like with that kind of stuff being said, I just don't want you to become jaded now that you've seen the other side. You understand what I'm saying?
That's been big. And one thing I can say 100% is, I'm human, just like every other fighter on the roster. And after experiencing this, I can 100% understand why certain fighters have this like harsh experience and relationship with MMA fans, because it's hard on you psychologically, emotionally. Because even if people are still, giving me positive energy and comments and trying to uplift me, there are plenty of people out there, tearing me down. Like, and even in like my most recent post with me and my family, like, there's people go out of their way still to say the things that they want to say because I lost them some money on that night. But it does not in one bit change the way that I want to treat the people that care about me and love me. Like, when I go to my next event, every single person out there that asks me for a picture, I'm going to do as long as I can. Every person that wants me to sign something, I'll do it. Like, I still know that there are many people out there who get sincere inspiration and motivation from what I'm doing. And the bad apples are not going to spoil it for everybody else.
That's right. That's right. Oh yeah, and then one last thing I wanted to say before I forget. So, do me a favor, Malcolm.
Mhm.
Please don't listen to anyone saying you need to move gyms. That's fake news. If you want to
Mhm.
cross train from time to time, that's one thing. But in my
Mhm.
opinion, you should absolutely stick with the people that got you to this point. I mean, not only did they get you to this point, but what happened in that fight wasn't about, like, if you go to Extreme Couture or Kill Cliff, or like, what are they gonna fix that? Like, you're telling me these aren't mistakes
Yeah,
that
yeah,
your
yeah.
coaches and you can just sit down like you did. I
That's
mean,
right.
you didn't even get into the details here, but you like wrote down frame by
Oh
frame
yeah. Oh
what
yeah.
happened. Like, and so tell me about that meeting, just in terms of the fight, not in terms of, distractions on fight week and this and that. Tell me about the actual talk that your coaches had about frame by frame, like what
Yep.
happened in that fight.
So there were two major, like I say, lenses to view a lot of the mistakes I made from. And one of the major ones was the athletic, like the athlete's psychology I was competing from. So let me explain this. Like, so I kind of said it already, but I was expecting to get a favorable matchup for this fight. I wasn't expecting it to be such a tough fight. So when I go into the first round, and I realized, like, this kid is good. Like, he belongs here. He's not nervous. Like, he's responding to every point of adversity with a rally back. His coach, everything I was thinking, that fucker said it, brother. When I'm setting up my checkbook, he said it. When I'm setting up my calf kick, he said it. When I'm looking to counter or throw a straight shot, if I land to the body and I wanted to go to head next, he said it, bro. When I say they were prepared, not just strategically, but like he had the self-belief. He had the conditioning, he had the durability, he had everything he was supposed to have, right? So I fight this first round. I make some mistakes and I go back to my corner. Even though I felt good about the first round, on that stool, like, now my mentality is, holy shit, I'm in a fight, right? So from that point forward, like, my ability to absorb information from my coaches and implement it is almost pretty much out the window. I don't even remember the times I was on the stool with my team, if that says anything. And I've never had an experience like that, right? And from the second round forward, bro, I almost intentionally threw caution to the wind and abandoned technique, because I felt like, well, I know if I make it a dogfight, I know if I make it dirty, I know if I test his heart, his cardio, his durability, I can break him. And I saw that as my route to victory. And there were many times where I had him on the cage. He was on the back foot. I heard him get some air. I hit him with a hard shot. And I was like, I'm close. I almost got him. And I stuck to that strategy foolishly. So I say all that to say, a lot of the technical mistakes I kind of know was made from a place of competing with the wrong mentality versus me not having that tool in my arsenal. Now, from a technical standpoint, um, obviously, I rely too much on a knockout, specifically from my right hook. It's no secret. Like, even somebody that's not a specialist or very familiar with striking can see that I open most of my exchanges with my right hook. For many reasons, I was fighting from a primal place, an instinctive place. It wasn't from a technical place. I wasn't making IQ adjustments. So my subliminal confidence in my knockout shot became what I relied on without even realizing it. So I have to rewire my approach. If I have somebody on the cage, I need to put myself in better position. I need to pick shots, throw combinations, instead of setting up that one shot so hard and getting out of position that I'm trying to knock him out with it. That was a big point of talking. A lot of the takedowns were results of me going for poor takedowns, but it was because I thought I was fighting a pure striker. I looked at his record, 8-2, 7 knockouts. Surely he can't wrestle the way that he wrestled. That's what I thought. Then I find out afterwards he has D2 wrestling experience. Yeah, blew my mind, right? So, like, that was one of the things that I could chalk up more so to, the place I was competing from mentally, because look at all my fights before. I've taken guys down and never went for something so poor on anybody, let alone somebody with that kind of wrestling experience. So there was a lot of technical things to pick apart. The way I'm using my different stances, being more conscious of it. Obviously straight shots over hooks, knowing when to apply them. But even though public opinion is not that I put on a good performance at all, there was still good things that we took away from the fight as well. So in a nutshell, that's kind of like the technical breakdown of things, without me trying to take up too much time.
No, I got you. All right, fan Q&A. Let's answer some fan questions for this. So this dude said, I saw Malcolm say he didn't watch tape for Ethan. Any chance half the battle told him Ethan was game in advance? All right, before you answer that, well, he didn't watch tape because I mean, he found out about it like the day before weigh-ins, like,
That's
which
right.
that's not an excuse. I mean, I don't know if you want to share anything private about people sending you film on him, but that's neither here nor there. The fact of the matter is, you learn from the mental mistake you made, and I think you can address this question.
Yeah. Again, like I had people reach out to me, right? But what took precedence over that was the people that I thought were checkpoints to make sure I was getting a good matchup. So if somebody would have told me outside of the people that I had that stock in, it wouldn't have affected me regardless. And then this is also another very interesting point. But if you watch his interviews after the fight, he said that when Sergey got injured, he thought he might get the call on me back then, and they started watching me and studying me then. So you're talking about somebody with 6 weeks old of a game plan, right? Versus the guy with none at all. So there's a ton to unpack there. But again, I take absolute accountability for that. And regardless of if somebody does or doesn't say that moving forward, regardless of what the situation is, it will not happen again.
Haymaker said, "What's good? You'll be back better than ever, bro."
Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. I will. I guarantee it.
Yes, sir. I guarantee it as well, my man. All right, hold on. Scrolling down through these. Yeah, there's a lot of comments. We're gonna get to the good ones. Hey, my boy said he likes your breakdown of the fights.
Thank you, brother. Hey, he gave me a great opportunity to show what I can do. I impressed myself with that one.
Yeah, man. Definitely. All right, let's see. What else we got here? Yeah, there's so many questions that
I love that the watches are so interactive. The fact that you got to scroll through comments and pick them is lit. I love it.
So you already answered this, but just maybe a brief little something. Malcolm, please tell me your thoughts on your last fight. Something you haven't told me already.
Here's a take that I haven't really put out there is that I think the amount of heart, like look at how we talked about Taira, right? And the way that he showed that championship mentality, Merab showing that championship mentality. Go look at the shots I took. Go look at my immediate response to him, bro. I walked forward every time. Like I forced the next exchanges. Like the amount of heart that I showed, I am beyond proud of. But I hate that is the farthest thing from the narrative of that fight.
So OG Herb said, Malcolm, you're a true G.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate that.
Double Flushing said, got any extra Wellmaker merch for me?
We got stuff cooking. It will be coming. You obviously understand the plans have changed with a lot of the stuff that we was going to do, but yes, we do have stuff on the way.
Yeah, and it's gonna be fire. Don't let I know I'm sure it said certain things on the graphics that you got to change. I understand that.
Yeah.
But I mean, when you put on the fight of the month, I forgot to ask about that. The fight of the month. All right.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, brother.
No, certain things I don't have to say publicly, but do you feel any kind of honor, or you feel kind of like, yeah, I like that, but maybe give me something else under the table? Like, do you think you're gonna wake up with a little something extra in your bank account next week, or is it just
it's
the
possible?
Prestige?
It's possible. And look, listen. Okay, so overarching principle when we talk about money with this fight, right? I'm not mad about money because money is going to come, right? Like, look at how much money I've already made in 7 months in the UFC. Like, bro, I'm very happy with it. And I know that moving forward, I'm going to make more money. Bigger contracts are going to come. I'm going to get back in the win column. The money is what the money is. But, I mean, come on, I'm human. And I don't have to tell you this, but to walk away from Madison Square Garden with half a paycheck, not get fight of the night, and then get the fight of the month honors later is kind of, a tough situation to understand. But again, man, it's all good, bro. The money gonna come. It is what it is, brother.
Khalid said, no question for Malcolm. We've seen short notice replacements spoil the party many times. I know Malcolm learned a lot from his first L, and he's going to be back stronger and will be in the top 10 in 2026. I like the prediction.
Yes, sir. That's right. 100%, brother. Like, listen, I feel like that was one of my worst days. And I promise on my worst day, nobody will ever be able to do that to me again. I will handle business. I'm going to be good.
Yeah, just a slight adjustment mentally, and you'll be good to
That's
go. And
right.
you already know what you need to do, technically speaking. You know,
100%.
so
100%.
I mean, it's all there in the tape. Khalid also said Ewing's a tough son of a gun. None of us are debating that.
Brother, I cracked him a couple times. Like, bro, like they were at the close to the end of the second round before the spinning elbow. I walked him down to the cage. I hit him with a body shot so damn hard, bro. And I was sure he was gonna turn and it was gonna be my chance to put volume on him and look for that finish. That fucking shot for a takedown. Like, you know what I mean? And it was one that I had to sprawl and force to scramble with. Like, bro, he is game, bro. He is good. He's tough as it gets. His chin and head ain't big for nothing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no doubt about it, man. And I mean, like we talked about earlier, when you got taken down, hey, I saw those backdoor escapes. I saw
You know
you
what I
do the
mean?
wall walking. I
You know
saw
what I
the
mean?
takedown defense. Like, okay,
Thank you, brother. Let's
like,
let the world keep sleeping on it though. You know what I mean? Let's not let them focus on that.
facts. Rumble Rants, who actually won one of the things in our giveaway. So shout out to
Okay.
him.
Awesome, brother.
Yeah, he said, awesome, Malcolm's here. Let's crush it this weekend, and good luck in your next one. You're a star, bro.
Thank you so much, brother. I appreciate that.
Yes, sir. All right, let's see what else we got. He also said Adrian Yanez and Malcolm are two of my favorites. Would hate to see either lose, but it would be insane. Any thoughts on Yanez or another good fight, for the next one?
Yeah, bro, I'd love to fight him. He was one of those guys that before I got in, I was watching and I loved the work he was doing. And anybody that knows anything about either of us knows that would be an incredibly exciting fight. So yeah, I'd love it. It's all about what direction the UFC decides to go in next.
He also said fraud check is such a pussy thing to say to a fighter because it's like Ethan fought extremely well and low key Malcolm almost finished him in round one and in round two as well.
Yeah. It's yeah, man. The casual fan base is just tough to deal with, but like unfortunately, those are the people that keep the business running, so we got to take what comes with them. But the real understand what's going on, and I appreciate you saying that, man.
So T-Carb said, only a bump in the road, Malcolm. You'll learn. You get better from this. Can't wait to see you grow in this wild sport we all love.
Thank you, brother. I am 100% going to grow from it. Y'all, just my next performance is going to show, man. I'm telling you, man, it's going to be so much better.
I don't know this dude's name, but he said, bro, Malcolm, you're awesome. I hope to see you win your next fight. We all hope
Thank you, brother.
It's going to happen.
I appreciate it. It is, for sure. Thank you, brother.
Narco Cop said, you are a future champ. Love the mindset.
Thank you so much, brother. Thank you so much.
And then this one I like. He said, that's a damn quote. If I don't take responsibility, I can't fix it.
That's damn right. Yeah, if I take responsibility for it, then I have the power to fix it. But if I put the blame on somebody else, then I'm relying on them to do what's supposed to be done to get it fixed. And that's just not the way I roll, man. I'm going to take care of everything.
I got a bone to pick with this comment. So he said he got a regional guy on short notice. You want to give him more advantage? Yeah, but let's put context on it. Number one, it was up a weight class. Number two, it's not like this guy was coming off the couch. He had fought a championship title fight the week before. And he even said in his interview there, like, I'm ready right now. I'm in shape right now. I'm not getting out of shape. I'm ready to go. And like Malcolm said, which I didn't even know about, this dude was actually getting ready to fight you. Like the second year matchup with Serhi City was announced,
Those are words out of his own mouth. Yeah. So
yeah. And shout out to Ethan, like with how respectful he's been.
Absolutely. He's a class act, brother. Yeah. Listen, bro. And let me tell you this, bro. I told my coach, Jake, I told him word for word, when we was shaking out the morning after, and we was kind of having like our talk afterwards, bro. I was like, man, it kind of sucks that I'm in this situation because I'm in a lose-lose. If I knock this guy out, right? Like I knocked out a bum, I only got cans on my resume. That's going to be the casual narrative. And if I lose to this guy, especially if I get finished, I got finished to a nobody. Like, right? Like no matter what, I was in a losing situation. And then it sucks too because I won't get too deep into it about this, but the only person getting credit for a short notice acceptance is Ethan. Right? People don't understand. I was in a position where I'm undefeated and I know the risk I'm taking. I could have said no. And there's people who in my position with less risk still say no. And I said yes.
You mean like sorry. You mean like
you mean like
Adrian Yanez last week when he turned on a flyweight?
And he admitted publicly that he did it. Like, so if he's admitting publicly that he did it, imagine how many people don't publicly speak on turning down matchups when something like this happens. I was in beyond a lose-lose situation. And if I wouldn't have took it, I'd have went home without no check. I don't get paid just because Cody got injured. I go home with nothing. And I paid for tickets for my team. You understand? Like, I'd have went home at a loss, brother. And nobody is, I guess, aware of it. I don't want to say they don't care, but they're just not aware of how much of a loss of a deal that I took. And I'm still on my first contract, bro. I didn't make shit. I went home with half of a contract pay on my first contract, took a risk that I did not have to take. I lost my O, and half the world turned on me. And again, look, brother, I'm happy to be here. My life is good. I got 2 bonus paychecks. I'm a full-time father. I get to see my son wake up and go to sleep every night. You know what I mean? Like, I am blessed, and I'm happy Ethan got his blessing. He got a child on the way. But this is a brutal game, and I took such a losing deal, and nobody cares about it. And to finish this statement, I'd do it all again, brother, because I'm a fucking fighter. I weighed on the same scale as Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier did, and I took a fight on 48 hours notice. I fought my heart out. I got split. I didn't give a damn. I walked forward to the very last bell, and me and my team and my family are proud of the heart, of the resilience that I demonstrated, and the way that I show the world and the people who care about what I do in this game how to take a loss and move forward with it will only further, me being the role model for the people who legitimately care about what I'm doing in this world. So that's my rant, but that is like a brutally honest thing that I wanted to share.
Dylan said, Malcolm gonna bounce back. I'm not even worried about it. I feel the same way.
100%, brother. I will. 100%.
Rumble said, did the first round knockdown get you off the game plan? What knockdown? Does he mean the judo throw or? But anyways, he said he felt like Malcolm overswung a bit as the fight went on. Not a critique at all. Just wondering what he thought about the fight in terms of that.
Yeah. So again, I don't know what knockdown he's talking about either, but 100%. If you look at the way I fought on round 1 and then 2 and 3, like I first of all, I didn't have a game plan to abandon, but second, I did abandon technique because my approach then was I'm going to make it a dogfight. I'm going to test this hard.
Narco Cop said this man is not using excuses, which shows a lot about his mindset. He will improve and get to the top.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate that, man.
And he also said this is a guy that knows what he's talking about. He said Ethan Ewing is better than Haddon.
I think Ethan is very good, and that loss on my record is going to age well. We definitely will know that in time.
Yeah, we will. My boy said half the battle should be Wellmaker's manager. Hey, no disrespect to Jason. I think Jason's the man.
For sure.
But if Malcolm ever needs my opinion on something,
that'll be my second pick. Half the battle for sure.
He's got my number. He can call me anytime.
Understood.
Okay. Let me see what else we got. Scrolling down a little bit more. I like this. The term fraud check needs to be fraud checked. I agree.
Yeah, you damn right, brother.
Okay, look. If, like I said before, if you got truly fraud checked, you and I are having a different conversation. Do you understand that, right? Like
100%.
If you quit, I don't know, but like, it didn't go your way, but you fought your fucking heart out, man. Like, and I watched it again on Monday just so I could, because when you're watching it live and it's just, I just want emotions. I just want Malcolm to win. So every exchange is like, a heartache and this and that, but like everything's so crazy, stressful. But like, now that I know the outcome and got to actually watch the fight Monday, I mean, you're fighting your fucking balls off,
What a fight, brother. What a fight. Yeah, man. It's hard for me to watch it and not be like, damn, brother, I was out there fighting, you know what I mean? So, and I wanted to show the world I had different things. Like I wanted to show the world I had heart and a dog mentality, just not under a loss, Yeah,
no, of course. Already claimed it, which I said I love that name. Malcolm's still that guy.
Thank you so much, brother. Yeah. Mad love, man.
Yeah. This dude said, bro, it's a close decision loss. You weren't finished. It's all good. Back to the drawing board. Come back better. Yeah, but okay. Yeah, but like it's a close decision loss. But like if you would have got 30-27, grind it out, can't get up from bottom, like not trying to win at all times, then we have a different discussion. Like, do you guys understand what I'm saying here? Like there's context. Like not all decisions, not all knockouts, nothing's created equally in this game.
Correct.
All right, let's see. getting to the end of these, my man. I appreciate your
All
time, my
good.
brother.
I love it, bro. Like I enjoy being able to have this long form conversation where I can tell like all the small details that I probably won't get to tell anywhere else. And obviously the people tuned in care in some capacity about hearing what I got to say, because that was a hell of a situation to be in, brother.
It sure was. At what point in the fight did you feel like you were losing, and was it breaking you mentally? Good question.
Nah, bro. Look at the last 10 seconds of the fight. He's holding a body lock on me against the cage, and I'm trying my damnedest to break it because I want to swing. I want to do a Max Holloway moment. And he's holding me because he feels like he did enough. And it never broke me mentally. I wish we had 5 rounds, 10 rounds, you know what I mean? Because I would not have broke mentally. I think that, you know, the more success he had just made me want to walk forward more and take away the success by breaking him. I wanted to make it a dog fight. The reason it was such a dirty fight is because I enforced the exchanges. Look at me walk forward round 2, round 3. I didn't do the boxer gallop in good position, brother. I walked like this to try to make the next exchange happen now. Like, it never broke me mentally. It wasn't going to break me mentally. And that is one of the things that I wanted to show the world that I had, but unfortunately has not so much gotten across to you guys.
We're trying to set the record straight on these things. So Rumble said, any ideas when you're coming back? You're a star, bro.
Hopefully early next year. Honestly, I'm already back training. I literally have already made a whiteboard of what my next camp is gonna look like. I got coaches aware of what they'll be doing for me, and yeah, we'll be getting into it soon.
Okay, so that question earlier when he was talking about a knockdown, I think he thinks you knocked him down. Well, okay, so in that first round, early in the first round, when you hit him with that counter, right, and he kind of got off balance, I heard the commentator saying you hit his shoulder, or did you hit his chin?
I thought I connected. He kind of shook his head like I didn't, and it sounded like I connected too. But it was one of those things where he didn't look hurt enough for me to get careless going for a finish anyway. But nonetheless, I felt like that was a good moment for me, and I got more confidence from that exchange.
Yeah, he said, and you kind of covered this, but did you ever feel like you were over swinging at all? That was my only critique.
100%, brother. If you look at the shots I was throwing, when I missed or even if I landed, I was in very bad position because I put all my heart and soul into every hook that I was swinging at that man.
Narco said, I have a question for Malcolm. Did you realize that when you hurt Ethan to the body, I think it was round 2?
Yeah, 100%. I threw a knee in the clinch and I heard him gasp, and that's when he backpedaled extremely hard and was on the cage, and I was chasing him, just trying to keep the pressure on him.
So this is a little bit of a tough question because, you know, but we got to get to it.
Let's do it.
Let's see what you say about this. Wellmaker should fall out of love with his hooks. Well, I don't know why you do that, but and start timing more straight punches. Okay, that I can agree with. Because let me say this. One of those exchanges, I think you went southpaw and you landed like a straight left like McGregor. That was like a big one. I was like, damn, I'd like to see more of that. But anyways, so more straight punches. He says your chin's up in the air when you throw big hooks. Slick strikers will time you with right hands and jabs.
I 100% agree. I think like the words you're using, like fall out of love with his hook, is kind of hard for me to agree with. I think I should favor them a little bit less than in a way to where if I'm still loving them, I'm using them for the right counter opportunities, or I'm setting them up with my straights or the right footwork. But I agree, brother. Like anybody with, like I said, it doesn't have to be a specialist to see. I relied on my right hook way too much. And needless to say, I'm already working on that with my coach. So we're good to go, brother. Respect.
So Malcolm, at 31, besides trying to be a champion, what else do you want to accomplish or goals that you have in MMA or outside of MMA?
So the one goal I've had that has never changed since I've had the opportunity I've had on this stage is to be financially stable. I want to be able to walk away from my career when it's time to walk away and not have to go back to the job site. Now, how that looks, you know, I'm not sure. Hopefully I make enough money in the fight game, invest it the right way to have the passive income to cover my bills and my overhead be good. Maybe I get into the commentary side of things. Y'all see what I just did for half the battle. So we'll see. But that's the one goal that I have that will never change is that, every bit of money that I'm making, I'm not blowing it on stupid shit. I'm working with a financial advisor. I'm investing it and trying to put myself and my family in a position that we still have the same type of freedom of our time that we have now after I'm done fighting.
Dude, thank you for bringing that up because you got 250K bonuses in your first 2 fights, and then your next fight, still on your first contract, only get your show money. So a lot of fighters get that first 50K bonus. Now they just bought their mom a house. A weekend later, no more 50K. And one thing my dad always told me growing up, you're only a millionaire if you have $1 million bucks. Like, do you understand what I'm saying by that? Right. So, I feel like this is important for you to know that, like, hey, like we do have to invest because you could have been under the mindset that, oh, these 50s are just going to keep coming because I'm just going to knock everybody out. So that mental maturity, and then also having the right people around you, investing your money the right way. Again, like it sucks that, the win streak snap, but honestly, I think it was the best thing that ever happened to you.
It's good for me. And it's so good for me, and the world will be able to see it when I return from it. But until then, I got to take everything that come with it. And I mean, I hope that y'all can see that I'm taking it the right way. Full accountability. I'm already back on the workhorse. The only thing I'm not doing is sparring because I still got these stitches coming out of my face.
Take your time. You're just in the fight of the month. Let's chill until we spar again. Let's drill these counters,
Yes, I'm itching though, man. I showed the world that I'm a dog and I got heart. And I sit at the gym and I'm sitting there, I'm itching, just wanting to get in there with the guys. But I'm taking my time, like you said, I'm focusing on the technical things. And it's so ironic too, man, to be a striker, to be beating everybody in the striking game and to be shown how many holes I have in my striking, man. It's such a beautiful thing. And I take that proudly because that gives me the opportunity to fix them. It will not happen again. I will not, go in and have those huge holes, the wrong approach, the lack of a game plan, none of that stuff. It's going to be a very, very good return. And so many things are going to be put in place for me to be successful.
So Rumble said, Malcolm's got the heart of a warrior, the character of a saint. Imagine answering these questions after a tough loss. True character comes out when times are tougher.
Yeah, that's true, bro. It's a good quote. I think it was on a John Wick movie, but it was like friendship is only valuable in times where it's hard. You know what I mean? Like it's easy to be a friend when things are good, and you really get to see somebody's character when you put them in a bad spot and you really need them when it's hard for them to be there for you. So I like to think, you know what I mean? I have good integrity, good character, regardless of if I never win a fight again. I will never turn into a hateful, spiteful person again. I said this before the fight in one of my IG posts, and I believe it in my heart. I've already done so much and inspired so many people in Augusta. And if I went back to the job site at this point, brother, I wouldn't have to lift a finger. So I'm happy, bro. Life is good, and I've had an experience already that's beyond what I thought I ever would.
So Miro said, how soon do you want to get back in there, and do you have any future opponents in mind?
I want it, brother. I want to get back in by February. Like I don't know if that sounds crazy or not, but that would be 3 to 4 months removed from my last fight. I know on paper I took a lot of damage, but my body feels good. But besides the stitches, I'm not waking up with headaches or nothing like that. I feel really good. Yeah, I feel really good. And so hopefully I can get in there early next year. As far as future opponents, like I said, brother, I fight anybody. The only person I don't want to fight is Cody Garbrandt. I love that guy.
Tell them why, just so that, because in case they don't know.
Oh, okay, yeah. So I looked up to Cody Garbrandt when I was kickboxing in front of Dan. You know what I mean? He was one of my idols at the time. And when I fought in Atlanta, he was on that same card. It was my first time meeting him. And out of everybody I met, like I had this like kind of mentality where I didn't want to fan out over everybody and ask for pictures. But he was the one when I saw him, I said, hey, bro, like, I need a picture and I want to tell you how much I look up to you. Like, and I had like a little 5-minute spiel. He had a son with him, Kai. I knew Kai by his name because I've been following Cody for so long. Kai liked me. He was showing me his little bobblehead that he got from the Hawks. And, every time I've seen Cody since then in Vegas, he's taken the time to have a real conversation with me, give me game, give me advice. And he's just been so solid, man. So to look up to somebody so much, meet them, and they be so awesome, down to earth, it's just somebody that I admire so much that I have true emotional care for and would not want to compete against. But anybody else I fight.
Would you like to fight Ethan again? And I loved your response on Helwani to this, because before you answer this, a lot of guys, when they take a loss, that just like takes them to a point where like, oh, I can't come back until I beat this guy. I have to, like, I remember a dude lost the belt. And like a reporter asked him, what's more important to you, avenging this loss or getting the belt back? And you know what the answer should be: getting the belt. That's a fighter's goal. And this guy said, I'd rather fight this guy again than fight for the belt. Like,
no, I ain't gonna lie, bro. I'm not losing no sleep over the loss to Ethan, brother. Like, you know, I don't feel like I got nothing to prove to him or to myself about it. And I'm definitely not worried about proving anything to, like, you know, the casuals about it. You know, if down the line the storyline makes sense, it's a big fight, I would love the opportunity to show what I can do with him when I'm prepared for him. But if it never happens and I still go on to do what I'm gonna do in this division, you know, more power to him. It doesn't bother me if I do or don't. I'm indifferent about it.
And shout out Ariel Helwani, because I kept a close eye on him in the sense that he interviewed you twice while you were hot, right? And not that, you know, I'm just saying now you're coming off a loss. Is what I'm saying.
Facts.
So I was paying close attention. Is he gonna call up Malcolm or not for an interview? And the fact that you did, Ariel, big respect to you for that, man. Like, that actually like really made me happy. So shout out Ariel for that, because I was paying close attention. Who's calling you for interviews now and who's not? Who's still got your back? And the fact that he had you back on today, shout out Ariel.
You know, I'm gonna be honest, bro. I was honestly surprised that he reached out to me. So besides my local news station and you and Ariel, like nobody's hit me up. You know how it is when you win. Like, I'm literally booked 2-3 interviews every single day for 2 weeks straight. And it don't bother me, because I understand this is the nature of the game. When you win, you get to do your victory lap, and that's what comes with it. And when you lose, that's typically not the story. So Ariel, brother, when I was in New York, they went above and beyond to accommodate for me and my family. Bro, my fucking team forgot pads, bro. They went and got pads from Super Rare while I was doing the interview, because I asked them to drop me off at Super Rare when I left instead of the hotel. And they was like, no, we'll get them for you. Just go do the interview. Like, bro, they are incredible people. Him, his team, text me after the loss just to talk to me to make sure I was good. And Ariel personally reached out to me and said he wanted to have me on the show, and asked if it would be okay. I said, brother, come on, man. Like, I'm still honored to just be able to share that platform with him. So Ariel is a solid dude. And I consider him a friend. I really do.
That's awesome, man. So Jason said, Malcolm, how do you disconnect from fighting?
What do you mean disconnect from fighting? Like, in what sense?
Video games, movies.
Playing with the
kid, like.
Right. So I'm kind of like one of those guys, unfortunately, that like so much of my life revolves around fighting. So all the people I hang with are my teammates. Like, we always watching fights together. I'm always watching YouTube boxing breakdowns, recaps. I spend a lot of time with fighting, but brother, it's because I love it. Like, you know what I mean? It's not hard for me to train and work hard because I love fighting. And outside of the gym, I love watching legends stories on YouTube, the documentaries. I love fighting. So I spend a lot of time doing it, but I do watch anime. I did an interview with Jose. Brother, it turned into a 30-minute nerd fest, bro. And I was not prepared for that. But I love watching anime. Me and my wife always watch an episode of anime every night when we eat dinner together. That's like our quality time, because she trains too. She's at the gym right now. So anime is something that we watch together. But I don't spend a lot of time doing too much that doesn't involve fighting, which is why I'm going so crazy right now.
I got you, brother. So Bob said, Malcolm, we all want to see you succeed. I believe this will be one of those situations where you and Ethan meet again in a title eliminator.
Would be an amazing storyline, and I'd be looking forward to it, brother. My boxing by the end, brother. Oh my goodness. Imagine.
Yeah, for sure. Rumble said, sorry, I asked a lot of questions. No, you asked some fucking great questions, man.
Great questions. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to tell my side, you know, all good.
Yeah. Okay. Autonomous said, much respect to Malcolm for not being afraid to talk publicly about his loss without silly excuses. I hope to see you back soon with a big W on your record.
Thank you, brother. I'm working for it. All I got to do is go through the motions.
Yes, sir. Jason said Dan needs a coffee. Do I sound like I'm like falling out or something? Man, I'm enjoying myself.
Yeah, I'm having a good time.
Yeah. All right, let's see. T Carb said, any non-fight related plans for the holidays? Rest up, enjoy some family time, road to the title 2026.
Not really, brother. I ain't doing too much different. I get to eat a little bit on the holidays, but bro, I'm when I say itching to get back, brother, I'm itching to get back. So as much as I can do, I've been going to the gym literally every day outside of class settings on my own time, working technical stuff. And then I still been going to the nighttime classes because I got teammates that's competing soon. I'm holding mitts for them. On the holidays when the gym closed, I go for long runs to burn off the extra calories, bro. Like I love the fight game. I love my life. So, I don't try to get too far away from it.
Jump Prangle said, still backing you to the end, man, and listening to you talk about things in such a mature and intelligent way is so encouraging. Absolutely zero doubt you will be coming back cooking.
Thank you so much, brother. I'm trying to have the right attitude about it, and I think it's only going to help me in the long run.
And the next one said the same thing. Malcolm has a great attitude, great mental fortitude.
Thank you so much, brother. I appreciate it.
And that's what we need, man. That's what we need.
That's right.
Mira said, with those long arms, you got to sharpen those elbows. Before you answer, I think we got to give credit to Ewan's fucking chin because he ate a spinning elbow that I'm like, bro, like when I'm watching that, that's not about what you did wrong. That's about what he did right. The way he responded to that right away, like we talked about.
Bro, he was good. Listen, and then I also want to say, speaking as far as my career goes, I pretty much have dominated the clinch fight with everybody I've ever fought. He was the toughest guy in the clinch I've ever fought. Like the only elbows I was able to land on him from clinches were up through this angle. That is a very awkward elbow that I do not have to pull out my bag because I can get the traditional elbows on almost everybody. But the fact that I had to pull that out, and the only kind of elbows I landed was 2 upward angle elbows from the clinch and a spinning back elbow, should tell you about the level of what I was dealing with. But that does not mean that he didn't show me room for improvement. So again, something that me and my coaches talked about, dominating head position, still fighting a good tie clinch when I have double unders. Bro, I'm on it, but thank you.
Mario said, Malcolm, you have to understand that these casuals will only see things at face value. You are a violent killer and went there to fight regardless of, the circumstances.
Thank you so much, brother. I appreciate that. Definitely learned a lot about the casual fan base. But it's a small price to pay for what I got out the game, man.
And it's encouraging to see like tons of different people. Like,
100%.
Hey, the fans are half the battle. You're the fucking best, man. Y'all
are awesome, brother.
Y'all understand fighting. You know what I'm saying? Jump Prangle said Van, Talbott, Merab, Pantoja, they all took L's early in their careers, and you can only come back stronger here. We believe in you. Don't let the haters be louder than the rest of us.
Thank you so much. Y'all doing a great job of helping turn my heart. I tell you what, I'm so glad to hear all the positivity, know that I'm still being received very well. And seeing that, y'all want to hear the deeper things and y'all appreciate them, man. I love y'all. I'm glad I came on.
Mario said, Malcolm, you've made me hundreds. I will never look at you differently, brother. You are a killer.
Thank you, brother. It's going to be good money on the next one. I promise you that.
Mike said, yo, Malcolm, do you think maybe the jab was key to breaking opponents' combos? You're nasty. You add a jab or two at the end of combos? At the end. Interesting. No one would be able to outstrike.
Yeah, that's a good boxing concept. A lot of boxing concepts are super hard to apply in MMA, but I do think my jab was heavily underutilized. A lot of good moments I had was when I committed to my jab, but I just didn't, stay with that game plan. And also I did a bad job of, switching the timing on my jab, feinting the jab, pulling out the pull counter that he was going for. I was committing so super hard on him. A lot of stuff with the jab that could change, but exploring, finishing with jabs is something that I haven't thought about. So maybe, I don't know, brother.
Oscar said, happy to see Malcolm doing great. Can't wait to see him back.
Thank you so much, my man.
So Dixon said, Malcolm, are there any rappers or producers you listen to on a regular basis? Also, do you know any rappers or producers down in ATL? My big bro, DJ. I don't know who that is. Do you know who that is?
No, I don't know who that is.
Is he trying to get us to say a word that's going to be like something fucked up?
Like I don't know, bro. Sometimes they be setting people up like that.
Yeah, I wonder if he said what's up, but just answer the questions about the rap.
Rappers or producers I listen to on a regular basis, bro. I'm not gonna lie, bro. And I hate they didn't even show the walkout music. But I'm pretty like typical. Like I just like hard rap music. So a lot of the major artists like YoungBoy, Lil Durk, like those are people that I love listening to. Um, there's a guy named DJ Mark B. He be with 21 Savage a lot. He's actually from Augusta. I don't know him super personally, but the fact that he's from Augusta and made it so big with somebody like 21 Savage is huge. No, I cannot rap, my boy. I cannot rap. I tried to rap, and when it didn't work out, I ended up becoming a producer making beats, and that's a whole, different phase of life. But nah, man, no rapping.
Jason said, Malcolm, happy holidays to you and your girl and your son. Dan, thanks for this interview. More of these interviews, less gambling shit. It's great. It's great to show fighters' personalities. Hey, listen, even if you don't gamble, I just love breaking down fights, giving picks.
That's right.
But then it's also awesome to talk to guys like Malcolm, who, if y'all don't know our history, I called one of his first amateur kickboxing fights where he had headgear, shin guards, big gloves, and he was knocking guys out. And they told me, you can only interview the main and co-main event guys, like because you know how fighters get on the mic, they start screaming, or the mic's right here, they're talking like over there, you can't hear. It's like they didn't want to deal with that. But when I saw what Malcolm did, I was like, screw that, I'm interviewing this guy right now, right here. And another thing, I remember messaging you before you even started MMA, like, bro, you think about getting into MMA, like,
and it's so crazy that, that was like the birth of our relationship, because since then, every step of the way, you only like gain confidence from, everything I've done. And you still got it. Like, we had a personal conversation afterwards, and, I can tell that you still truly believe in me. And I'm gonna prove you right, brother.
Oh yeah. I mean, you already have, bro. You already fucking have, bro. But like, I know what's coming, bro. All right, let's see. We're getting down to the end of these. Okay, Ryan had a good one. Might have been asked, but question from Malcolm: how different is it game planning when your opponents keep getting shuffled around? This has been a constant theme for your career, and I have to think it plays a part. I mean, it really has, man. I mean, Atlanta, New York, we can go on.
I think. Listen, I like to think that I have great mental fortitude, right? I know and understand the fighter psychology pretty well. I know that I have to maintain my focus regardless of the elements around me. But it is a huge toll psychologically on you when opponents are getting injured, pulling out. It's big when you start getting closer to fight night and you're trying to keep training the way you're supposed to, and you don't know if you are or are not fighting. Majority of the weight is psychological, but I feel like I handle it pretty well. Game planning is game planning. Game planning and film study doesn't take very long as far as the investment, but what does take time is the ability to drill counters, the ability to develop the right calls that apply to the matchup for you and your opponent. So in real time, they can call things for you to do that they see without your opponent understanding or knowing what you're looking for. So you need time to implement them into training and to drill them, make muscle memory of them, and have the recognition in such a high stress moment. So it plays a big role. But again, it is what it is, brother.
Jason said, fighting can't be your identity. It's part of what you do. May God bless your heart. Don't burn out.
Damn right. Thank you, brother. I agree with that. I 100% understand that. I know fighting can love or not love you back, and I cannot have my identity, my happiness reliant upon it. So I'm making sure I put things in place outside of the cage so that I can be happy and content with life regardless of what happens in my career. But thank you, brother.
Ryan said, Malcolm, huge fan, saw your fight in Atlanta, and he won the glove giveaway.
Hell yeah, brother.
You'll bounce back better than ever.
Thank you so much, man. I'm glad you got the glove. Maybe we'll do another giveaway one of these days.
Dude, first of all, I forgot to mention that. Thanks so much for hooking up the fans that have to battle, man. That was awesome.
That was fun.
Signing literally everything I brought you,
Absolutely.
No
I'm glad they appreciate it as much as they do, bro. Like, what I mean? It's literally nothing to me. Yeah, it's just me signing the glove, but the fact that it means so much to y'all, it's no doubt at all. I'm willing to do it, man.
Well, let me tell you this. When I get to 25K subscribers, I'm giving out a free signed Michael Bisping glove. But how about when I get to 15K, maybe you and I can do another giveaway?
I ain't gonna lie. Listen, I'm gonna go ahead and commit to it. You ready?
Yeah.
So I got these sleeves of the fight posters they give out, signed by all the fighters. And I've literally not used any of them. They sitting in the corner collecting dust. So out of these 9 posters that I now have, I'll take one of those. I'll sign a personal half the battles signature and note on it, and then we can give it away for 15K. So let them know what's happening.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, y'all just heard it, man. You're gonna get it's signed from the whole card and this and that. Fuck yeah.
It's a very special poster. Let's do it.
So when we get to 15K, Malcolm Wellmaker giveaway. When we get to 25K, Michael Bisping signed glove giveaway.
Let's do it.
I know we answered a question similar to this. I'm just not sure if this is the exact one, but is this the exact one? How does the constant opponent shifts impact your game planning? There's been a theme in your UFC career. Is that the one we already answered?
I think it is. If it's not, it's incredibly similar, but yeah.
Okay. Jason said, Malcolm, would you fight in NYC again? And if you do, will you not stay at the Fighters Hotel?
I would love to fight in New York again. I'm not gonna lie, especially if it's at MSG, but I will be eating at the hotel because I will not be walking all over the city again, trying to find food and riding the subway with my son on my hip because we don't want to take the stroller. I mean, it was an absolute mess logistically, but next time it'll be better. Yeah, I'd love to fight there again. And next, I have to fight there again to get another win. I'd love to, man.
What was MSG like? Just the walking out there? Was it different walking out there than compared to Atlanta or Kansas City?
Not really. I say the only thing that was different was like my personal experience because this was the first time like I felt like I belonged there. Like I felt like I knew how much people were like looking forward for me being there like all week at the Fighter Hotel. Like I'm walking through to get coffee. I'm walking in and out the place to go to these different, things I got to do. And like so many people were so excited for me. And I just felt at home with the UFC. So like that experience in itself, I felt so much more present than I ever have. And that was the biggest difference. But to be real, like a big stadium's a big stadium, like 10,000, 14,000, 20,000, like they all look like a lot to me. The music's always loud, but I heard people like screaming the lyrics and like, so happy to see me, brother. It was just good, man. It was so fun. I had a great time.
Ganga said, hey man, we saw how durable Malcolm is. Dude is tough.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. I damn sure did show it.
I know that's something you don't want to always show, but at least you got to show it once. You know what I'm saying?
That's right. Bro, I probably took more damage in that fight than any other of my fights. Even like if you combine them, man, like that was way more shots than ever, brother. It's crazy.
RD said, shout out Dan for the constant content, getting Malcolm on here. Shout out to you, Malcolm. His first event was 322. It was a banger, and he's a big fan. You will bounce back.
Thank you so much, brother. I appreciate that. I'm glad you enjoyed the fight. It definitely was a banger, brother.
All right, let's see. We're getting to the end of these. Ryan said, sleeve of poster signed, please. Hey,
yeah.
Y'all want that? Y'all know what you got to do. Get me to 15K subscribers. We'll do that. 25K subscribers. Michael Bisping signed gloves. So y'all know the deal.
Let's do it.
Jonah said he really loved your interview on Helwani's today. I loved it too, by the way.
Thank you so much. Ariel's awesome, man.
Yeah, and just again, I know I said this earlier, but I was paying very close attention if he was going to call you for this or not. And the fact that he did that, it's not just a bandwagon thing while you're winning, that you take your first setback. And yeah, shout out Ariel, because that awesome, I know that meant a lot to you, but that meant a lot to me too. So
awesome, man.
Yeah. All right. Last question. So Nick said, when will you be back? Future champ.
Hopefully, man, late January, maybe February. But early next year, man. Like I already said, I got back in the gym, last week. I was already working on stuff. This week I'm actually doing training, technical stuff, and then maybe soon I'll actually get back into some drilling with partners and stuff where I don't have to worry about the few stitches still in my face. But I'm already on go, man. I'm already working on the things that need to be fixed. I'm not far from fight shape. Obviously, I'm not eating too crazy, and hopefully early next year, brother. Future champ, yes sir.
Malcolm, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me right here, right now on Half the Battle. I mean, man, you how candid you were, and being
real, bro.
You're always real, win, lose, draw, whatever, man. And
that's right.
We know that this was a very valuable experience for you, and man, I feel bad for the next guy, but more importantly than all that, like,
yeah,
I'm just looking forward to the adjustments, the improvement, the maturity, and what you're going to do when you come back, man.
I'm so excited, brother. I'm making the adjustments, and I like the same way you feel. I feel even more because I know what the next performance will look like, and the next one. So much wisdom gained, so many leaps for me and my camp that's going to be implemented, and you guys are in for a good one next time.
And one more. T-Carp said, Union strong, be easy, Malcolm.
Union strong, baby. Yes, sir. My brother.
Dirty hands, clean money.
That's right. Always.
Awesome. Malcolm, thanks again for your time.
Yes,
much
sir.
love, much respect, and can't wait to, well, I think you need to chill out a little bit, enjoy your holidays, you know?
Yeah,
like,
I'll still take it easy. I won't put too much load on the body, but we're going to be ready next year for sure.
hell yeah. All right, my man. Have a great
All right,
one.
brother.
Wish the family my best, and
I
take
will.
care.
Yes, sir.
All right, bro. Peace out. Yo, I mean, come on, man. Malcolm the Machine Wellmaker, the absolute man. Full accountability for everything, not making any excuses, giving Ethan the credit he deserves, but also having the wherewithal to admit where he went wrong, to know what happened, what kind of adjustments he needs to make. The fact that, you know, people are telling him, oh, you got to go see a new team, which I think is complete bullshit. I mean, because these adjustments that he made, like, what if he goes to a bigger camp all of a sudden, like, that's not how you fix things. You sit down with the people that brought you to the dance. You meticulously write down, you know, frame by frame, like they did. And not only did they look through the actual fight itself, but they also talked about the lead up to the fight, you know, whatever was going on, this and that, but also the 48 hours before the fight with that switch up, how they might have handled that differently if that kind of situation ever happens again. I mean, I said my opinion, hey, let's make this motherfucker go to 138.5 to 140. I felt like there could have been certain things they could have done, but these are the lessons you learn. And like I've told you since day one on Half the Battle, no one is exempt from that first L. I do not care who you are. So, and it's funny because like I'm saying it with a smile. It's like you might think, oh, I'm smiling that he lost. No, I'm not smiling that he lost. I'm smiling that he got that first L out the way, because now he's got the pressure of being an undefeated fighter off his shoulders, and now he can just go out there and be free and really do what he was brought on this earth to do. And I think that's be one of the best bantamweights to ever do it. So y'all call him a fraud. Hopefully that reflects on the odds. We all get paid next time, but more importantly than any of that, I think that Malcolm's future is very, very bright, and y'all can see that by, you know, his attitude, his mental fortitude, and yeah, just the way he carries himself. And man, I'm so excited to see what Malcolm Wellmaker does next. So nothing but love for him. And shout out to all the fans for the great questions that y'all had for him. And it's good to be candid like this and not beat around the bush and make excuses and anything like that. I know I was a little harsh on Cody Haddon, but I meant everything I said. And we praised Ethan Ewing and gave him the full respect that he deserves, because I think he's got a very bright future too. And I also love the fact that Malcolm's not married to, you know, oh, I have to fight this guy again, or you know, I can't get over. No. Take the lessons learned from that fight, come back better. And if you guys happen to meet again in the future, cool. If not, also cool. Like, they're both going to go on to do big things. But Cody Haddon better prove that he can show up to a fight before he ever gets the chance to fight Malcolm again. I'll tell you that right now. And if any of y'all got pictures of that boot or that x-ray, you let me know, okay? Because I will stand corrected, but as of right now, I'm very firm in my stance on that. But yeah, shout out Malcolm, and I hope he enjoys the holidays with his family, and I cannot wait to see what he's going to do in 2026. And people are calling it a comeback. I mean, he didn't lose stock in my book, man. This is just a temporary setback, man. This happens to all my favorite fighters. It would have been I'd call it a comeback if like he quit, or if like, you know, if he got knocked out, or if like he got laid on, and then it's like, okay, now we got to bounce back. Bro, you got the fight of the month. You put on the best fight of November, and I'm shocked they didn't get fight of the night that night. That's a separate discussion. I hope he wakes up with a little something in his bank account in the next week or two. But all that being said, man, I'm proud of this guy, and I haven't lost even a little bit of faith in him. Honestly, my faith couldn't have got higher, but it did, because he showed the things I need to see, that heart, that mind, and that determination. And I can't wait to see what Malcolm does next. So fuck yeah. Thanks to him for joining me. Thanks to the fans. And let's talk about these prelims, my friends. So I do got to cut a quick promo for Homa Fight, and then we're going to talk about these prelims real quick. So, all right, 1 second. Here we go. All right, check this out. All right, real quick shout out. If you're not in the Home of Fight Picks Discord, you're leaving money on the table. My brothers, Hey Jive and Nolan, the Parlay MMA, put in hundreds of hours of research every single week, and combined, they're up over 110 units on the year. And they're doing something crazy for the fans of Half the Battle. They're giving out this weekend's picks and parlays free. All you got to do is click the link in the description to join the Discord with over 6,000 members. And also, I'm in the Discord, so you can interact with me. I post some free bets in there. So click that link in the description, and let's cash these bets and parlays together this weekend. All right, y'all. Let's get into these prelims, and then I'm going to get out of here. So thank you all so much for being here. I thought that was a fucking great interview. I thought the main card breakdown was good. Smash that like, hit that subscribe, and let's finish out this card. Because next up in the lightweight division, we got a matchup between Grant Dawson. He is 23-2-1, taking on Manuel Loco Torres, who is 16-3. And currently they got it. Grant Dawson minus 215. The comeback on Loco Torres is plus 185. So really interesting fight. Listen, last week when I did my early picks, I was thinking, hey, Dawson, weather this early first round storm, take him down in the second and third round and drown him and this and that. But like, dude, when I watched the tape this week, Dawson's stand-up is absolutely atrocious. Like, it is bad, bro. And he's like throwing spins and stuff now, and the shot that Bobby knocked him out with is the exact same shot Torres knocked out Drew Dober with. And I hear people saying that Dawson took a dive against Bobby, which I think is some of the most R-word shit I've ever heard in my life, because number one, Dawson's been knocked out outside the UFC too. Number two, Dawson's stand-up sucks. So how can you be surprised when a guy with no stand-up gets knocked out? I don't understand how you can call that a dive. I will let you know when something is sketchy and fixed. That was not the case there. He got knocked out. And then Torres, I mean, he's a physical guy. He hits hard. He hasn't been past the first round, but that doesn't necessarily mean that he's going to fall off a cliff if he does. But there's a lot of questions to be had. But one thing I know, he's the more physical and more athletic guy. So Dawson better be humping legs early. Because when you're talking about Dawson, I mean, that's what this guy does, man. I mean, big takedowns. I mean, when he takes the back, he's one of these guys that, like, he must feel so incredibly heavy on the back, because some of the guys he's choked out, like Mark Madsen, who was an Olympic wrestler. I remember Mark Madsen dropped him early. Oh man, he did Leo Santos dirty. But I remember Mark Madsen dropped him early in that fight. And the fact that he was able to hold him down the rest of that fight and then choke him out was super impressive. So Grant Dawson, like, you watch him on tape and it can be deceptive because the stand-up looks so poor, so unathletic. Some of the takedown attempts and even the cardio late in fights. Like, y'all remember that Ricky Glenn fight? Not the best look in the world, man. So I do got to give him credit for his improvements, but if he is not humping legs here, he is in the deepest of you-know-what shit. And the thing, I see a lot of people comparing Manuel Loco Torres to Terrance McKinney, but here's the difference. Terrance McKinney is proven to fade, after round one, whereas I understand why you might suspect Manuel to fade after round one, but we just haven't seen it, whereas we have proof of what happens with McKinney. Now, with Manuel Loco Torres, like I said, you're dealing with a physical freak. All of his UFC fights, win, lose, or draw, haven't gone past the first round. And some of these knockouts he's getting are absolutely insane, man. Like, he's just sleeping guys in a way where you give this guy the right experience, you let him get the proper fights under his belt, and he's going to do more damage. And I do think he has a bright future. I mean, Chris Duncan's not an easy guy to compete against, and to go out there and, like, look at this brute force takedown he hits him with, man. Like, that was nasty, taking the back and choking him out, which we're going to talk about the McKinney fight in a second. Then here against Bahamondes, y'all know Grant Dawson can't strike like this. I mean, let's just call a spade a spade, I mean, that was all credit to Bahamondes. It was what it was, man. But the way he bounced back after that fight, oh, did my boy Meticulous show it twice? Oh no, he got dropped twice. That's my bad. Yeah. Hey, that's the same shot you hit on Dober that Bobby hit on Grant. So you just never know. Like I said, last week before I watched tape, I was pretty confident that Dawson's just going to weather a storm and grind this guy out. But as we get closer to the fight, I'm not saying I'm picking Torres, but what I'm saying is that, like, I think Torres has a chance to starch this fool. So I think Torres in round 1 and maybe get in on a live entry on Dawson. I did pick Dawson initially, so I guess I'm going to ride with him here because I say he's more proven in later rounds, but y'all saw that Ricky Glenn fight, and I get the narrative, oh, that was before he went to ATT, anabolic top team. I get it, but I don't know. Dawson's super unathletic, super unimpressive on the feet, but he's deceptively strong on the mat, and he's out-grappled some serious guys. So I think by default, I got to pick him as a pure pick, but when I watch the tape, and again, tape is not the be-all, end-all. Tape will talk you off some good spots. So maybe it's talking me off Dawson here, but after tape, I think it's a dog or pass situation. Pure pick, I'll take Dawson. But I just can't get over how ugly his stand-up is. But then again, when Torres got taken down by Chris Duncan, he got back up right away. So that was good, but I don't know if Duncan can take you down. I'm sure Dawson can too. So let's see if Torres can get back up. I'll take Dawson, but I'm not as confident as I was last week on it. Next up in the lightweight division, we got a matchup between Terrance McKinney, he's 17-7, taking on Chris Duncan, who's 14-2. Currently, they got a Chris Duncan -150. The comeback on Terrance McKinney is +130. So, and the reason I'm not reading the rest of the measurables is simply because since we've been going live for almost 2 hours and a half, I don't want my camera to die on me. So I'm just going to go ahead and just get through these, which shout out to all the fans, man. Y'all are fucking amazing. Smash that like, hit that subscribe, leave me a comment when this is done. But with Terrance McKinney, now he is the definition of a killer be killed round 1 or bust guy. I mean, literally every time he's been past round 1 in the UFC, he's lost. I mean, he's lost in round 1 as well. But like, this guy's just basically made a pact with himself that, like, I'm going to go out there and try to kill everybody I fight. And the thing about it is, man, when you look at, he puts up this graphic all the time of all his first round stoppages, and it's absolutely disgusting. It's ridiculous. Like, he's got 17 wins and 16 of them are in the first round, and all 17 of them are finishes. So Terrance McKinney, he's either going to kill you or you're going to kill him. That's just the bottom line. Like, if this fight goes the distance, I'm not going to say shit like I'm going to quit the show. You know what I mean? But I am going to say I'd be absolutely shocked. But I'm sure the fight doesn't go the distance. It's probably like -1200 or something. In fact, let's take a look what it is, because now I'm very intrigued. What is the fight doesn't go the distance in this McKinney fight? That's something that we need to talk about. Fight doesn't go the distance. Yeah. Oh shit, I was wrong. I said, what I say? Did I say -1200? It's -1600. Like, damn, bro. Now on the other side with Chris Duncan, you're dealing with a Scottish brawler. Look, he's also a killer be killed guy, but he's gotten a lot better at being able to drag these guys into attritional wars. And people say he's chinny. I don't think he's chinny. I think he's hittable as hell. That's what I really think the issue is. He's slow and he's hittable, but he is durable, as you saw in the Mateusz Rambecki fight, and he's getting a lot better ever since he moved to ATT in Florida. And that guillotine he has with that reverse handshake grip, like, dude, that's some shit I've been trying in the gym lately. So shout out Chris Duncan for introducing me to that, man. So, but then here you see the Manuel Torres fight. I mean, could McKinney not possibly do that? I think he could, but you also got to, give credit to Duncan for the improvements he's made since that fight. So yeah, shout out to both guys, because I think like McKinney I don't think he's a bad fighter at all. I just think that his approach is literally balls to the wall, killer be killed, and as a result, you guys know exactly what's going to happen. But I felt like in this fight with Vucenic, like, man, he bitched out Vucenic to the point where Vucenic was on a 4-fight deal, and the UFC cut him after the second fight because of how bad Chris Duncan did him. And then the Mateusz Rambecki fight, another fight of the year candidate. So you love to see it. I mean, I think y'all know what it comes down to. Either McKinney's going to run over him right away, or McKinney's going to have a lot of dominant spots or rock him. And then eventually Duncan's going to ease his way into the fight and finish McKinney. So it could go either way. I'm going to lean towards Duncan on it. And also I want to say it went from -200 to -150. So maybe McKinney is a little mushy in this spot. Maybe some value's opening up on Duncan, but the obvious concerns are there. You guys know that. Next up in the flyweight division, we got a matchup between Maycee Barber. She's 14-2, taking on Karine Silva, who's 19-5. Currently, they got it Maycee minus 200. The comeback on Karine is plus 170. So another interesting fight because y'all heard ad nauseum about the health issues of Barber. But the thing about it is if and big if, I don't know. I'm not a doctor. I've heard mixed things. I've heard seizures. I've heard anxiety, panic attacks. I don't know what it was. So I'm not going to sit here and claim like I know exactly what happened to Maycee. Only Maycee knows. If Maycee comes back the same, I think she wins this fight. Look, Karine Silva's super dangerous. She introduced me to a new submission. That Z-lock, I'd never even heard of that shit before. And like, I think Karine, even against the best Barber, can like win the first round. I mean, you saw Barber get taken down multiple times by multiple opponents. So I think Silva is going to come out here, take down Barber in that first round. But the issue that Silva has is she tends to slow down as fights progress. And that's where I think if Barber is still Barber, she gets mean with these girls when they start to slow down. And Silva shows any kind of weakness against Barber, Barber's going to take over and put some damage on you. So if this is both ladies at their best, then I think Silva takes her down early and Barber starts to come back in that second and third round, really put it on her in that third round. If this is a compromised Barber, I still think she gets taken out in the first round, but maybe Silva could get a finish or have some kind of ground dominance. So I don't know what to expect because I'm not a doctor, but if I'm getting the real Barber, I think that she wins this fight down the stretch with her physicality and power for this weight class. But shout out Karine Silva because I enjoy watching her fight. And when she first came into the UFC, guillotines, darces, Z-locks, like she's nasty, man. So shout out to her. But if Barber's Barber, I think she takes over in the second and third round. Next up in the lightweight division, we got a matchup between Fares Ziam, he's 17-4, taking on Nazim Sadykhov, who's 11-1. Currently, they got it Fares minus 135. The comeback on Nazim Sadykhov is plus 115. So this is another banger. I mean, I love this fight so much. When you're talking about Ziam, he's a guy that came into the UFC, what was he, 19, 20, 21. He was just a kid when he first came in. Don Madge, who's a striker, had to resort to takedowns against him. But Ziam, he was like the youngest guy in Paris to win the K1, I'm pretty sure it was. And I mean, from time to time, he's nasty, and he's had to pay his dues inside that octagon. And since those first early losses, now, like I said, since he was a kid, now he's growing into that frame. Now he is, putting on the size. He's fighting, at his range like he should be. And he's a long technical striker, good feints, good jabs. And I've been waiting for him to knock someone out with that straight right, which he had been doing on his regional scene for a while. We just haven't seen it in the UFC yet. But I would love to see him get to that. It's just going to be kind of tough against Nazim, who is like insanely durable. Nazim Sadykhov is a dude that can just eat shots, and he's a guy that finds a way to win. But Ziam is in his best current form. So you love to see it, man. And people saying this fight against Davis was fixed. No, it wasn't. Davis was injured. You know what I'm saying? Like Ziam still had to overcome adversity with that calf slicer. So I will let you know when some shit is fixed. Y'all got to stop calling everything fixed, man. Now, with Nazim Sadykhov, you're talking about a very confident and physical individual and a guy who often gets off to slow starts in fights, but he never gives up on himself. And simply put, Nazim Sadykhov is a guy that finds ways to win. So you got to show him respect. Like the Elder fight, he's down 2 rounds, finds the cut stoppage in the third. The Bonfim fight, he's getting outstruck, 2-1. Finds that head kick and makes Bonfim quit. Against McKinney, loses round 1 against McKinney like everyone does, and then finishes him in the second. Against Slava, loses 2 of the rounds, but the 1 round Nazim won, he got a 10-8. So it's like, and this fight against Mata, one of the best fights of the year. Mata maybe could have got a stoppage early, but Nazim showed the heart, the will to win, the determination, plus it was in his home country. And then when he came back, hey, some of these combos, you got to admit, are pretty fucking nice. Like, so Nazim can take it and he can give it too. And when he gives it, like, I'm telling you, these combinations against Moda are a lot sharper than the combinations early on in Nazim's career. But here's the thing about it. They were in kind of a brawling close quarters fight, whereas Ziam is going to fight at range, keep it long, and possibly not give Nazim those opportunities to get off on those big moments. So my thing with this fight is, I think the strike count, assuming this goes 3 rounds, is going to be Ziam, doubling up Sadykhov on strikes. It's just, can Sadykhov have those big moments to sway the rounds over to his side and possibly finish the fight or win based off big moments. But that being said, I'm going to pick Fares Ziam, but I think both guys are future top 15 fighters. Next up in the middleweight division, we got a matchup between Marvin Vettori. He's 19-8-1. Taking out Brunno Hulk Ferreira, who's 14-2. Currently, they got it Marvin minus 115. The comeback on Brunno is minus 105. So another interesting fight. Marvin Vettori, legendary chin, man. I mean, this is a guy, and he actually made it to the top 5 of his division at one point, which I said many times publicly that I thought that spoke volumes to how weak the middleweight division was at the time. But now I think the middleweight division is getting a lot stronger with some of these emerging contenders. And the thing about Marvin Vettori is we always used to talk about the blockhead, the block chin. Like, this guy can just take your hardest punch. You can hit him with a baseball bat. He's going to keep walking forward. It's very, very impressive. But that being said, now his chin is starting to go because, look, he hasn't been knocked out yet, keyword yet. But ever since the Adesanya title fight, he's like 1-5 since then. And in the Cannonier fight, Cannonier set a significant strike record on Vettori's face. And just the reactions when Vettori gets hit these days, like, I get it. He's fought the better level of competition than Brunno. He is the more experienced guy than Brunno. He's paid more dues than Brunno, but completely different trajectories. Vettori's on his way out. And like, I didn't even think he won the first Dolidze fight, but then they run it back. And Dolidze, who's known for having ultra low volume, is like landing over 100 something significant strikes on him. Didn't set a significant strike record on his face because Jared did, but I mean, didn't get too far off from it either. You know what I'm saying? And on the other side with Bruno Ferreira, this guy is a Hulk, like his nickname indicates. He's listed at 5'10". He ain't no 5'10". He's like 5'8". But man, he's a marauder, big power, black belt in jiu-jitsu, killer be-killed fighter, and he's beat some legitimate guys. He knocked out RoboCop, who I think is a better fighter than Marvin Vettori. He's also lost to some legitimate guys, and he's picked himself back up, and some of these wins are super impressive, man. So I like the direction that Bruno Ferreira is heading in. I like his opportunistic finishing ability, and I love the fact that you're taking on it's a serious finisher versus one of the most durable guys in UFC history. The thing about it is Vettori's durability is waning, and I've been waiting for Vettori to take that first stoppage loss, and I'm going to tell you what, my friends, I think this Saturday, live at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada, I think that Bruno Hulk Ferreira is going to come out here and be the first man in UFC history to finish the ultra durable Marvin Vettori, whether it's a knockout or a submission. I think submission is going to be tough because the guy's got no neck, but the reactions that Vettori's been showing lately when he's been getting hit by these guys, like Brendan Allen's been knocked out in plenty of fights. Brendan Allen's actually kind of known for having a suspect chin. Brendan Allen felt no threat by Vettori whatsoever. He's literally putting a boxing clinic on him. And anytime he gets hit by Vettori, he's like putting his hands up like, what, that's all you got? So Vettori's got pillow fist, iron chin, but I think that iron chin cracks on Saturday night at the T-Mobile Arena. And I actually bet on Bruno Ferreira at plus 100 last week. So let's fucking go, Bruno. Next up in the lightweight division, we got a matchup between the legend Edson Barboza. He's 24-13, taking on Jalen Turner, who's 14-9. Currently, they got it Jalen minus 300. The comeback on Edson is plus 250. So I know the talk is about, the fact that Jalen's coming off a retirement, but I heard that he had some personal things going on in his life. And like, don't get me wrong, he's massive for the weight class. He's 6'3", so he cuts an enormous amount of weight. So by default, he's going to slow down in these fights, but he's so dangerous and precise early. I'd actually like to see him go up to 70. Could this guy fight at 205? Like, look how skinny he is, but like, my God, could he fight at 85? It's like, dude, it's just those weight cuts are probably way too much for him, man. But when we get to this Moicano highlight, I know the stunt he pulled, but look at the shot that he's about to drop Moicano with here in a little bit when we get to that highlight, man. Like, it's absolutely disgusting, and I'm questioning if Edson can eat the shots that are going to be coming at him. Like, Dan Hooker had a reputation for being an ultra-durable guy, and he had to eat some bombs against Hooker, including a shin to the chin. I don't know what the fuck the ref was waiting for there. Look, here's the one I'm talking about, that straight left. Like, dude, that lands on Barboza, and the fight could be over shortly after. Now, here's my thing. You talk about Well, let's say Barboza gets it past round one. Then he can start to chop down the leg kicks and take over the fight. But the thing about it is Barboza hasn't looked like Barboza in a long time. He's talking about retirement, and we're talking about retirement at being almost 40, not talking about a short-lived, like a frustration-related retirement like Turner did. Don't get me wrong. Turner will be faded against the right guy. I'm just not convinced that my boy Barboza still got it like he used to. I mean, I know he doesn't have it like he used to, but look, back in the day, that Mike Lulo fight, y'all remember that name, Mike Lulo? Oh, man, the Terry Edom spinning head kick. Like, this dude's just got Lucas Martins knockout. Yo, I've been around. I remember these names. Rafaelo Tractor Oliveira. I know I fucked up that name, but you know who I was talking about, or do you? Evan Dunham, Benil. Like, dude, Edson's highlight, he beat the dog shit out of Dan Hooker. Like, Dan Hooker's taking some beatings, man, like shit. So, the Shane Burgos knockout was so like uncomfortable. Thank you for not showing him being out for like as long as he was, Meticulous, because that was hard to watch, man. But yeah, Edson lives by the sword, dies by the sword. One of the most badass strikers in the history of the lightweight division and the UFC to never touch UFC gold, man. He's one of the best ever to never touch UFC gold. But he's just been getting significant strike records set on his face, and I just don't see the same guy. I mean, why would you see the same guy? Look at all the wars he's been in. He's 40 years old, bro. It's over. So just need Turner to not get, badly fatigued from this weight cut, and I think he can come out here, get a first-round knockout. If he doesn't get a first-round knockout and you start to see him huff and puff, maybe go to the live window, but I think Turner gets that first round, either knockout or drop him and sub him type ordeal. Next up in the light heavyweight division, we got a matchup between Ibo Aslan. He is 14-3, taking on Iwo Baraniewski, who's 6-0. Currently, they got an Iwo -190. The comeback on Ibo is +165. Really interesting fight, man, because my thing about this fight is, y'all remember Ibo Aslan went to Dagestan 8 weeks and forget how to fight his last fight against Billy Elikana. I do not understand what happened there. But what Ibo is traditionally known for is going out there and just bombing on guys and landing, big time bombs. And, he got tapped out by the Pleasure Man, but he returned the favor in the UFC. We'll get to that. But besides that, big kicks, big punches, and he's got that Turkish power, man. Like, and when he's confident and on his game, like, he's a guy that runs through people. So I'm very curious what really happened in that Billy Elikana fight, because people are going to try to be like, oh, Billy Elikana looked good. You aren't giving him credit. Bro, the strike count was like 35-29. They both look fucking terrible. And my thing with that Billy Elikana fight was, it's not about the fact that he lost the fight, because people lose fights all the time. It's more so the fact that I've seen all these fights with Ibo Aslan. He's always ultra aggressive. And in that fight, all of a sudden, he's not pulling the trigger. Like, what the hell was going on? The Iwan Kutalaba fight was first UFC L time. It was what it was. But yeah, this Elikana fight. Look at my boy Meticulous showing the highlights of literally nothing happening. Y'all trying to act like Billy Elikana looked good. Y'all saw the highlights. He didn't do shit, It's like in a situation, exaggerated, where one guy lands one punch, the other guy lands 0 punches. So by default, the guy that landed one punch wins the fight. Now with Iwo, he's a little Polish tank, man. Nice high amplitude takedowns, ground and pound submissions, the whole ordeal. You love to see it. Big right hand, like you saw here, like you saw in Contender Series, some judo in his back pocket. So for a young prospect with less than 10 pro fights, I like what I'm seeing. I just need to see more. I need to see what he looks like in an extended fight. I need to see what he looks like against a UFC caliber guy. But so far, so good. It's just you're getting asked to pay a chalk price on a guy with a lot of unknowns. And I understand that Ibo has his issues, and Ibo's coming off one of the worst fights of the year, one of the worst sparring sessions of the year, however you want to say it. Hey, shout out to him on this one. I did not see this knockout against Muhammad Ali happening, but it was like in the first 20 seconds of the fight. Like, anyone can catch anyone cold, like while they're still fresh, So that's what makes it tough for me, man. What was my boy Meticulous laughing at? Is it the Elikana highlights? Yeah, I think that shit's hilarious too, because there were no highlights. It wasn't a fight, So with this one, I actually think it's a dog or pass situation in the sense that, like, Ibo's fought UFC caliber competition, and Ibo at his best look, I'm not saying he's a top 10 guy, but what I'm saying is like he's a bomber. He's an ultra aggressive killer, be killed guy. And with Baraniewski, what I've seen is, look, good takedowns against the guy you've been fighting, big right hand. But like, what's going to happen if you don't just land a big right hand in the first 20 seconds? Like, I need to know what Iwo looks like in an extended fight. I know what Aslan looks like. Sometimes he gasses out, but sometimes he knocks guys out at the UFC level in the third round. So, I was liking. I mean, I think I picked Baraniewski on my early breakdown, but after watching a little tape, look, I'm not saying Baraniewski's not going to win, because there's a chance Aslan comes back here and his confidence is completely shot, diminished, and he's simply not the same guy ever again. But if I get the ultra aggressive Ibo Aslan, I think he might have something for this guy. So again, I'm not planting my flag. I'm not that confident, but I'm actually picked the underdog, Ibo Aslan, to get back on track. Just please, bro. Going to Dagestan 8 weeks and forget how to fight. Like, please come out here and fight with the Turkish power, swing big bombs, be aggressive. And if you do that, I think you got a great chance. But if his confidence is shot, then Iwo is going to win this fight. So I don't really know. And when I don't know, it's a dog or pass situation. Give me Ibo Aslan as a pure pick. I don't know if I can get behind a bet, even though I know the logic of a lot of people is if you pure pick a dog, you should bet them. I get it. But after how badly I got burned on Ibo last time, I don't know. You know, maybe his stock's down now. Maybe you know, buy the dip. You know, but we'll see what happens, man. Now, next up in the middleweight division, we got a matchup between Mansur Abdulmalik. He's 8-0-1, but between you and me, he's 9-0 because he definitely beat Cody Brundage. I was there, taking on Antonio Tricoli, who's 12-5. Currently, they got at Mansur minus 1,200. The comeback on Antonio Tricoli is plus 750. Tricoli is 7 years older at 35 years of age and 3 inches taller at 6'5", only a half-inch reach advantage at 80 inches of reach. So I haven't lost faith in Mansur. I think that Mansur is a very promising prospect. This guy is a freak athlete. He's a D1 wrestler. He's got one-punch knockout power. Wait till we get to this ground and pound knockout. Not this one, but this one. Like, bro, like, come on, man. Like, that is just so devastating. And he's shown that he can overcome adversity, like in this Wesley Schultz fight. And I just feel like he's the kind of guy that once the mental catches up with the physical, I mean, you could be looking at a future top 15 guy. I'm going to say right now, he is a future top 15 guy. Just needs to get some things down mentally. And look, he can overcome adversity. He's been rocked in some fights with people would be like, oh, he got rocked by Nick Klein. That's not the point. You get hit with a spinning back elbow. I don't care who you are. That's just going to rock you. But he overcame the adversity and destroyed the guy. And he destroyed this guy, Cody Brundage, too. I don't care what anyone says. I don't know why they didn't start throwing till the third round. People have suspicions about that. I'm not going to mention it. Y'all know what I'm talking about. But besides that, when he wanted to finish the fight, he finished the fight. Headbutt, schmedbutt. Like, come on, man. Cody Brundage quit for the millionth time. And with Trocoli, I actually saw Trocoli fight in the NFC against Diego Lima. Interestingly enough, it was at 170 pounds. Now he's fighting up at, is this 85s or 205s? I know he did a 205. Mansur's 85. Yeah. So this is 85s. But the fact that this dude was 6'5", fighting at 70s, and he looked like shit in the NFC against Diego Lima. He's looked terrible in the UFC. And this guy doesn't need to fight, man. This guy's a pro poker player grinding out $100,000 games. Broke up with Mackenzie Dern, is back with Mackenzie Dern. Like, bro, you don't need this shit. Go get 6 figures playing poker. Go home to Mackenzie Dern. Get your show, your show win, your show purse here against Mansur. Take this L and go on your way. You're winning at life, buddy. So I'm happy for Antonio Trocoli. But Saturday night, live at the T-Mobile Arena, Mansur Abdulmalik is going to come out here and destroy Antonio Trocoli. So, yeah, Mansur's the pick. Doesn't take a genius to pick a minus 1,200, but yeah, y'all know the deal. And last but not least, in the featherweight division, we got one of my favorite prospects, Myron Santos. He is 16-1, taking on Mohamed Naimov, who's 13-3. Currently, they got it Myron minus 250. The comeback on Mohamed Naimov is plus 210. So I love this fight. Santos, I'd consider him a very special striker, man. And he's super young still, man. And I just love his counters. I love how he, combines all levels, calf kicks, upstairs to the body. But defensively, some of his parrying, man, is really on point, and he also subtly taunts his opponents, which is awesome to see. And one issue he had in the past was, getting taken down on the ground again, because this guy comes from a striking background. Correct me if I'm wrong. Hasn't this guy had like 80 like Muay Thai fights, or am I thinking of someone else? Let me know in the comments. But yeah, man. And you just see this guy, he's going to be making these big leaps every single time he fights. You got to remember, he's only 25 years old. He's just a kid. Look at this knockout. Oh my God, bro. And that's against the guy that rocked Muhammad Naimov. Not that MMA math means anything. And against Francis Marshall, I know a lot of people consider it a robbery, but at the end of the day, regardless who you scored it for, it was still a close fight. And against Sadykhov, like, dude, just the setups to these shots and his feinting game and the way he'll bait you to draw out what he's looking for and the way he'll counter you. I absolutely love it. And with Muhammad Naimov, this guy's come a long way too, because I was not high on him at all in in his early going. Like, this dude lost the fucking Colin Anglin on Contender Series, which will never age well. But since that point, he went back to the drawing board. He put on size, and he's been beating dudes, man. He's been doing his thing. Like, the fact that he beat Nathaniel Wood, I know there were a lot of fouls and stuff like that in the fight, but the fact that he went out there and beat Nathaniel Wood, that's a fucking huge win. That's going to age well. But where I think he's going to have issues in this fight is I think the volume's on the much lower side compared to Myron. I mean, I say that, but it's more so that Myron will be able to neutralize you standing and, get you mesmerized with those feints. And then when you start to go and you start to get desperate, the way he sets up his counters is just nasty. But what Myron needs to look out for is that, and I don't think those spinning kicks are going to be an issue against Myron. I think what Myron needs to look out for is Naimov getting some top control on Myron. But from what I've seen, Myron's get-up game, wall walking ability, takedown defense, it's leveling up. And with a kid this age, you're going to be seeing those big leaps. So yeah, I'd love the price to come down a little bit so I can get a reasonable price on Myron Santos. But all that being said, I think he's the much more special fighter thing. I think he's the much more special fighter here. And I think he's going to come out here and defeat Muhammad Naimov. Now we got to talk about the fight to watch and the fighter to watch. So what is the fight to watch for UFC 232? My friends, fight to watch is Moreno versus Taira. This is going to be one of the highest level flyweight fights you've seen in a while, and you could be looking at the next number one contender. I mean, could you imagine Taira versus Van for the title, or could you imagine Taira versus Pantoja for the title? I know we don't want to see Moreno versus Pantoja 4. I mean, don't get me wrong, it'd be a sick fight, but we've just seen it a lot. But it'd be cool to see some fresh blood with Taira and Van. But either way, Moreno versus Taira, such a high level fight, and for that reason, it is my fight to watch. So the question now is, who is my fighter to watch? A fighter to watch is Payton Talbott, or as we like to say in Brazil, my friends, Payton Talbott. This guy, he stumbled at his first big opportunity, bounced back impressively against Felipe Lima, and now he's got the chance to go out there, retire a legend in Triple C. He's meeting him at the perfect time. And I think if he goes out here and performs how I think he's going to do, he's going to get all the hype he originally had back, and it's going to be bright skies for Payton Talbott. So for that reason, Payton Talbott is my fighter to watch. Well, my friends, we did it. Thank you all so much for all your support. I sincerely appreciate it. It's going down this Saturday night. Hey, do me a huge favor. Smash the like button. Hit the subscribe button. I would say share, but apparently if you share the YouTube link, the algorithm doesn't like that. So maybe instead of sharing on like Twitter, send it to like your friends and tell your friends to subscribe to Half the Battle. Once we hit 15K subscribers, we're doing another Malcolm Wellmaker signed giveaway with like a full card signed poster. And then once I get to 25K subscribers, I'm doing a signed Michael Bisping glove giveaway. So thank y'all so much for all your support, all the love. This was a fantastic show, man. So thank y'all from the bottom of my heart. And until the next time, my friends, let's cash these bets.